Can you hear me? Good morning. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you
Morning,
for
Mr.
joining.
Nuruddin. How are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Mr. Nuruddin, good morning.
Yeah, all right. Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone on the call.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure to have you here today for the second day session of this holistic training workshop for our investigative journalists. Also, once again, this Civil Space Guard Holistic Safety Masterclass for investigative reporters. Once again, my name is Nuruddin Salako, Program Officer at the Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism. I will also be moderating today's session. On behalf of the center, I'm delighted, to have you join us once again for this session. And today's session, we'll be focusing on a lot of things, just like what we had yesterday. Today's session, we are focusing on strengthening the capacity, of senior investigative journalists and also to safely navigate, the physical, digital, legal, and social risk of, investigative reporting. And just a brief rundown of what we had yesterday. We had three sessions yesterday. The first one was with Musrai Alaka, the Executive Director, CEO of Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, where she talks about, building awareness for safety, holistic safety for investigative journalists. And a lot, were said, given all the context, of the profession itself and how we can able to navigate all those potential risks. And moving that, we move to Idris Akimbajo, who is the managing editor of Premium Times, who also talks about the playbook or the practicality of how to stay safe, before you go to the field, while you're on the field, what are the things you have to do. He talked about the recording and all sorts. So a lot of things were discussed yesterday, and also to the third session that we had, which our veteran journalist, person of Mr. Yusuf Ali, the regional operation head of the Nation newspaper, where he talks about the legal aspect of investigative journalism. Can you defend this story, right? So it's not just about you writing the story. Can you defend it in terms of, the legal pressure and all sorts? So a lot of instances were created yesterday, and all these were a lot of things we discussed yesterday in terms of the question and answer session. And it was a very wonderful and a resourceful 3 hours session we had yesterday. So for today's session, we are building on that so that we can able to know the other part of what we are discussing about the holistic safety. Today we're talking about the digital aspect. Like, yes, everybody is on, you have your laptop, your phones, to work as an investigative reporter or journalist, but how safe can you be, in terms of threat, and how do you know that you have other threat of surveillance, digital surveillance? So we are discussing that today, and also talking about the mental health aspect as well, because it's not just reporting. It's also about you having a stable mental health to do this, because it comes first, right? So moving on to today's session. But before I proceed, I want to quickly do an housekeeping note. Please ensure that your video is on throughout the session. It's very, very important. Also, keep your microphone muted, when not speaking, so that you can able to have a decorum house. Then use your chat box for question and comment. Is very, very important. And also, we have session for Q&A. So after each speaker, we'll be having a Q&A session for them to answer to your questions and to know, what they can clarify or try to talk to you about, which we are not clear. So moving on, to kick off today's session, we begin with the first, session that we have for today, which is the topic is about reporting under surveillance. Reporting under surveillance, digital security for investigative journalists. That is a very wonderful topic. So this session is aimed to strengthen our journalists' ability to identify and mitigate digital security risk, which is very, very important through the safe communication, information management, and online protection practice. It's my pleasure to introduce our first facilitator, Stefan Akinimi, who will be taking us through this session. Stefan Akinimi, Head Technology and Innovation Initiative at the Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, strengthening digital infrastructure, cybersecurity, and organizational resilience, with expertise in systems administration, cloud technologies, enterprise security, and web development. He specializes in designing secure and scalable technology solutions. His work leveraged technology to support public interest journalism, provides practical insight, into digital security, information protection, and also navigating the evolving risk facing journalists in the digital space. It's my pleasure to have you, Stefan Akinimi. So over to you for this session. Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So I hope you can all hear me. Thank you, Nuruddin, for that wonderful introduction. My name is Stefan Akinimi. So I'm the Technology and Innovation Officer for Literature Center for Investigative Journalism. So my section is on digital security for investigative journalists. So today we are going to be focusing on practical ways investigative reporters can protect their sources, their stories, their devices, accounts, and also maintain newsroom trust. Because when there is a security, there'll be trust, right? So that's what we are going to be looking at today. So let me share my slide. So. All right. So as I said earlier, digital security for investigative journalists, right? So we are going to be looking at how journalists can protect their sources, the stories, their devices, their accounts, and also maintain the newsroom trust. So the first thing there is okay. Before I go into that, let me just say this. So today's section is not about turning anyone into cybersecurity experts. So it is about building simple digital safety habits, right, that reduce harm. So you are going to be looking at the common risk, the tools that can help, and what to do when something goes wrong. So those are the things we are going to be looking at. All right. So this section groups it into three major categories. So the first category there is threats. So threats, talking about the phishing, talking about the accounts takeover, talking about the malicious files, talking about impersonation and device loss. So that's the first category. And second one is talking about protection. So how can you protect yourself? How can you protect your accounts? How can you protect your device? How can you protect your sources, right? So that falls under protection. So passwords, MFA, that's multi-factor authentication, security keys, secure communication, and safer file handling. So those fall under protection. And the last category there is the response, right? So what to do when an account, the phone, your laptop, or source channel is compromised. So what will be your response? So what are you going to do to mitigate any risk that are caused? So and then you can see that digital security is not one tool. So it is a habit that reduces harm, right? So digital security is not just about using one particular tool. So it's about combining tools together to reduce harm, right? And the most important tool for digital security is actually the person trying to secure themselves, right? Because at the end of the day, when people are trying to when someone is trying to hack into your account, when someone is trying to gain unauthorized access to your account, they still need you to do something for them, right? So they need you to complete some tasks before they can actually gain access. So it's not magic. So it's not as if they will just say some magic words and they gain access to your device. No, it's not possible. So they still need you to perform some tasks. They still need to direct you to do what they actually want to do. So that's about that. And As Musra Alaka, the executive director of WSCID, so reminded us yesterday that investigative journalism is consequential journalism, right? So it is consequential because it can lead to real world change. So it can expose wrongdoing, trigger accountability, it can affect powerful people or institutions, right? So, but it can also be existential because the work may create serious risk for the journalists, so the source, the newsroom, and even those being investigated. So that's why digital security matters, because when you are trying to cover a story that we're trying to cover a story that has to do with a powerful person in the society. So that means your security is at risk, right? So that's why digital security is important. So and that will lead us to our next slide. So why digital security matters. So it matters. So because investigative journalism often carries sensitive information, powerful interest, and confidential sources. So the risk context there is that a weak account can expose a source. So a stolen phone can reveal notes, can reveal chats, photos, and locations, right? A malicious document can compromise a device. A fake message can damage trust in a journalist or newsroom, right? So, and a careless cloud link can leak unpublished evidence. So evidence that are yet to publish, when hacker gain access to your device, they can leak the evidence, right? And the evidence becomes null and void or something. So, and a fake message can also damage trust because when you lose trust when your sources lose trust in you, what happens is that you won't be able to maybe interview them anymore because the trust is broken, right? So, and a malicious document can also compromise a device. So, as I said earlier at the start of this session, I said the biggest security tool is still you trying to protect your account. So, a malicious document can't just get into your device, right? So you still need to do something before it actually enters your device. So that's it. So, and a weak account can expose a source. All right. So let's go move to the next slide. So what investigative journalists are protecting? So data security is not just about devices, it's about the people, the evidence, and the trust. So your sensitive assets, they are the sources, so the names, their numbers, their contacts, their missing details. They are the stories, the unpublished drafts, their research, their leads, the evidence, the document, the recordings, the image, the data set. And for the accounts, their email, their cloud, their social media, their content management system, that's CMS, and their devices, their phones, their laptops, their drives, your backups, and identity, that's the location, your movement patterns, your impersonation risk. So all these are the sensitive assets and investigative journalists have to protect, right? You can see there are a lot of them. So you have to protect all this because your location is very important. Your movement patterns, very, very important. Your social media, very important because we've seen cases of people, of journalists now, like being hacked and people gain access to their social media accounts and start posting uh, things, right? So it's very important. Your content management system. So if you're a journalist that has a website, a blog, or anything, and you're using maybe a WordPress, a Webflow. So those are the content management systems. So you use those platforms to manage your content, right? So hackers also can also try to gain access to those platforms because those are the platforms you publish your stories. So, and when they see a story they don't like, maybe they see a story about themselves and they don't like it, so they'll first attack that platform, right? So to try and bring down your website. So the evidence, the documents, recordings of so your recordings, images or stories, data sets. So all these are what investigative journalists are protecting. All right. So when we talk about digital security, so we are not only talking about phones and laptops. So you can see devices is there, but we are also protecting people, we're also protecting evidence and trust, right? So a trust phone number, a chat screenshot, a location details, or a cloud link can reveal more that we intend. So that's why they are all important. So not just phones, not just your laptop. So everything is important. So the journalist risk question. So before a sensitive story, identify who could be harmed if your digital life is exposed. So that means before starting a story, ask yourself that if my phone, email, laptop, or cloud account is exposed, who could be harmed, right? So the first thing, obviously, yourself. So you, so your identity, your safety, and your access, right? Your sources, their names, their files, and their trust, and your newsroom, so their accounts, your content management system, and the reputation. All right. So that's the first category. So in the next slide now, I have a case study. So just a very short video that I want us to look at. I want us to watch rather. So the title is the normal looking link, because when someone is trying to hack your account, they are not going to. So gone are the days whereby hackers send you messages that okay, you won $10 million, you won 1 million naira. So click on this link to to get your prize. Gone are those days. So hackers are evolved, right? So they look they actually look for your information online, right? They search for your information, what you do, the kind of stories we cover, the stories we covered in the past, what your movement is like, what your next event is going to be. So they look for all those things online. And believe me, all our information are online, right? Because most times you use your LinkedIn to post about your activities, your events that you cover. So everything is online. So they look for your information and they target the link or the message. They make it seems like maybe someone is trying to collaborate with you. Maybe yeah, a journalist is trying to collaborate with you. Maybe a newsroom is trying to hire you or something. So they make it look so real that you don't even doubt yourself. So when you see that message, when you see the message, you don't even think at all. So the next thing you do is just to click because you think, okay, this is a normal link. All right. So I'll play the video now. So I want us to pay attention to the video and we'll use that to answer some questions at the end of it.
Hello, we can't hear the video.
Okay, can you hear the video?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, let me check. All right. So can you hear now?
No.
All right, so I think there's an issue with the. So I'll just move on then. All right, so so I really wanted us to watch this video. So it's I'll just summarize the video. So the video is just a person talking about how he was hacked, right? So the hacker used a normal looking link, like so the person was trying to.
Stefan,
Ma?
is it possible this video you embedded it from? Is it possible you share your screen from the direct source instead of trying to play it inside your slide? It might. It's likely to work if you open.
Okay, so the source is on TikTok, so it's going to.
Yes. So if you open your TikTok page and you share that page and play the video, that's
All right.
what. It's the embedding into the slide that the technical glitch is likely coming from there.
Okay, so let me see if I can.
Please, there is an, okay. Yeah.
All right, so I'll be playing it from TikTok now. Let's see. So I got hacked. Can you? Someone hacked me actually, trying to hire me. They just didn't understand it, so that even for the stuff like this. Yes. This person went to my website and booked a call with me. Very regular stuff. He booked a call with me and left a description of the call, which is also regular stuff because you have to leave a kind of description. So, like you can see from the screenshots he attached to the video there, so you can see the person trying to hack his account now is using a normal message. So it's not a message talking about you just won 1 million naira, you just won 10 million naira. So it's a normal looking like messages, right? So he's talking about his work because the person is trying to book a call with him to actually work with him. So that's what the message is all about. So everything is normal, like everything is looking the way it's supposed to look like. So let's continue. On the project you want us to work on so that I can go study the brief ahead of the call so that I can get familiar with your idea or the project. So this was all regular stuff. And I got an email of the booking. Of course, click the link, and the link to the brief happened to be a Google Drive clone, which was a virus. And this virus did not even require me to log into Google Drive before I started executing commands on my PC. I clicked the link and it took me to what looked like Google Drive and asked me to sign in. Knowing my PC never asked me to sign in on anything because it has all my credentials. If there's anything that requires me to sign in, I am already signed in. But this asked me to manually sign in, not select your email. Manually input your username and your password. And there I understood that something was wrong. So I went back to the link and I understood that this link was a DOC expiry, which has already started running commands in my PC. It was not up to an hour
my Windows security shut down. I started getting threats, notifications on my PC, fixed threats, my Windows security won't even open anymore. My command prompts were all messed up. Executing commands right before my face. I was not pressing anything. So I knew it was over. But thank God I was able to recover my resources. And most of my works are online. So I just had to put my resources together into this. And I had to install Windows on my PC, which was very, very bad for me. But now I have to reinstall all the software I use and possibly pay for them again. I don't know. But yeah, this was crazy. I did not expect something like this. I never knew you can hack somebody by trying to hire them for a project. It has not happened to me before or anybody I know. So yeah, be careful now. Links, someone sent you a link. Links are not what they seem anymore. Things can tire.
All right. So what that video just telling us there is this person, he doesn't understand, doesn't know that it can be hacked while trying to get hired, right? So it's a normal looking link. It's as I said earlier. So the hackers they are smart nowadays. So in the sense that they know all your informations, right? So they are going to use all the information they get about you online, and they're going to use that to target to create a message that's going to target only you, right? So that's how the act his laptop, his device, and he was not able to do anything, right? So because once they gain access to your device, so most times they are going to make your device useless for you. So you won't be able to do anything. You won't be able to do anything. So as you heard him say, he said the device was running commands on its own. It didn't do anything. So all the commands were running on its own. So that's the hacker work for you. So the person has gained access. So there's nothing you can do at that point than to just format his laptop. So, but thank God for him, he has a backup drive. So which we are still going to talk about. So having a backup system is very, very important. So I think it's even the most important thing when it comes to digital security, because you need to have a backup. Yeah, you need to have a backup, not just one. You can even have at least two. So two backups, one physical and one in the cloud. So that's it. So this case study now. So what made it believable? So I just want to open the floor for someone to just speak about. So what made it believable? So why did he believe it? Why did he click on the link without thinking it could be a phishing link? So what made him click on the link? So if you can just have someone on mute and talk about it.
Okay, so our participant, let's hear from you. This is a practical session. So can you tell us what made the person to click on that message that got his laptop hacked? Okay, Felicia Mwosu, kindly unmute yourself and let's hear from you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Things like this, sometimes you don't really suspect anything. So we are more used to suspecting, send me an account, send me this, do this, do that. But most time we don't suspect things like that just for you to get an employee or apply for something could lead you. So unsuspiciously, I guess that was why he quickly clicked that, because he didn't suspect that things like that could happen through such source. Thank you.
Yeah,
All right,
thank you so much for your. Let's have another person, one more person. One more person.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
You said it's a job link, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a job link.
So most times, like me, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. I know that sometimes you go for a job and you could be kidnapped, all those fake jobs, but job per se link that you should click on a link that is you can apply for a job, is not common. So, and because of the unemployment rate, everybody is looking for a job. I think that is another way of exploiting our desperation to land a job. So I think it's because it's not common. That is why somebody could easily be like me. If I see it, honestly, I will apply too. So I think it's the method they use that actually made them to get that victim. But that's my opinion.
All right, yeah. So I think you said it all right, actually. So it is the method, right? So because gone are the days where they send you anyhow messages. So now the messages are personalized, right? So you think, okay, they want to collaborate with you. In a newsroom is trying to hire you. So it's something like we are human beings, right? So when you see messages like that, you don't even think twice. You just, oh, this is a good opportunity, right? So the next thing and one thing about phishing links, right, is that they urge you to do something, right? So we are still going to look at that. So they urge you so the one we looked at was a phishing link, a link, right? So sometimes they might even say you should download an application. So maybe they might say, okay, you should test this app on your phone, and they want to hear your feedback. And unknowingly, you click on download, you download the app on your phone, and the apps will continue as malware, and it takes over your device. And at that point, there's nothing else you can do than just to let go of all your files, right? It's just to format it. There's nothing you can do. So the only solution is prevention. So that's why WSID is doing this training, so that everybody can know. So because like the guy in the video I played said he doesn't know they can hack someone trying to hire them, right? So but everybody in this section now, you understand that they can hack you trying to hire you. They can even hack you trying to get your feedback on something, right? So that's why we have to be be aware of the danger that can come from anybody. So all right, let me share my screen.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, sir.
Mr. Stefani.
Yes, sir.
I think we should also not be gullible.
I didn't get you, sir. I didn't hear you.
When we get I said we should also not be gullible. We shouldn't jump at any information. We should be patient to take a second look at any link sent to us.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir. Yes. So that's it. So we should take a second look at the links and everything. So what made it believable? So it's look connected to normal work. It's used a trusted platform style. So the person cloned Google Drive. Google Drive is a trusted platform. Nobody can say Google Drive is an hacker's platform or something. So the person cloned Google Drive. But the only mistake the guy did was, number one, clicking on the link. And the second thing, he manually inputs his credentials. Because one thing about Google Drive is if you use Google very well, you know that all your passwords and everything are saved on your account. So you don't need to be manually inputting your records most times, right? So, but this time around, it was asking the person to input his records for him to sign in into his Google Drive. So that was supposed to be the second red flag. So the first red flag was
So the first red flag, right, was him not checking the links, and the second red flag was clicking on the link and still signing in manually into his Google Drive. So that's it. So it pushed the user towards the action, that's the link, and it turned trust into access. So that's it. So what usually goes wrong? So the platform may be trusted, the specific link, file, or login page may not be. So a journalist may click a familiar looking link, sign in on a fake page, and unknowingly expose their account. So once that happens, the attacker may reach email, the cloud files, and everything. So attackers copy tools journalists already trust. Just for instance, like the Google Drive. Most people use Google Drive to store their files. So it's not an unknown platform. So that's what I'm saying is the attackers now, they are very smart because they know that people are actually digitally security aware, but they still look for ways, they still look for loopholes they can use to attack people, right? So that's why they cloned it. So they can clone any website. So any website can be cloned, and they can use that website to gain access to your device. So what are the phishing red flags? So phishing is designed to make you click, download, pay, or sign in carelessly. So your account will be, so watch out for, your account will be suspended, open this document urgently. So when you see a word like urgently, just know that, just sit down, relax, and think again that, okay, this message that is telling me to click on this thing urgently, what is it really about? So you need to think twice, not even twice now, like think like 4 or 5 times now. So confirm your password. So you didn't request for a change in password, and a platform like Facebook, your ex, just suddenly sent you a message that you should confirm your password. You don't just click on it like that because you didn't request for it. So why are you clicking on links like that? So you need to either delete the message or message their customer service, and they will attend to you. So depending on the platform. So the next one, you have been invited to an interview, right? Interview links. So you need to first thing first, you need to check the organization, the URL, and everything. Make sure that it is really the organization that is sending you that interview link and not an attacker, right? So the next one, your editor asked me to send this. So your editor is asking you to send this. You need to fact check. You need to message your editor and ask him, oh, okay, sir, did you ask me to send this? Did you request for this, right? Because they can also clone your editor's email. So that's one thing about hackers. Emails can easily be cloned, right? So if your editor's mail is stefan@wsig.org, they can clone it. They will clone it to the to look like the real email, right? So if you don't pay attention, that's how you fall victim. So that's why you have to be careful. So before acting, check the sender identity, the real link address, the unexpected urgency, the file type, and the request for password or code. So very important. So protect your account first. So the first thing you need to do is protect your account, right? So email is often the master key because it can reset other accounts. Because when they gain access to your email, they can use your email to gain access to your other account, because they can easily reset passwords, right? Because they will be setting the passwords to your email. So use different passwords for different accounts, right? So please, it's very important. Make sure you use different passwords for I know it's not easy remembering passwords, right? It's not easy. So that's why there are password managers, which I'm going to talk about in the next slide. So use different passwords for different accounts. Turn on multi-factor authentication for email, your cloud, your social media, your CMS, and your messaging apps. So WhatsApp has multi-factor authentication, your email has, your cloud. So if you are using a Gmail, if you are using a Microsoft account, they all have their own multi-factor authentication. And you can get those apps on the App Store, either on App Store or Play Store. So you just download it. So if you are using a Microsoft Mail, so you download the Microsoft Authenticator. If you are using a Google Mail, you download the Google Authenticator. So what this does is that it requests for additional verification before you gain access to your account. So in the case whereby an attacker got your password, they still can't gain access because they will need a code, a 6-digit code, for them to actually fully gain access to your account. So your social media account, your X, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, so they all have provisions for all this. So you just have to maybe Google it and research on how to turn it on. So it might be a little bit inconvenient in the sense that you'll be putting passwords and putting codes, but it's for your own benefit in the long run. So review recovery email and phone number. So make sure your recovery email is updated and available. So because you might need to use it to recover your account. So check logged in devices and remove unknown sections. So a lot of people just sign in into anybody's devices, right? Because okay, you want to quickly do something on a story, you want to quickly publish a story, you just okay, let me quickly sign in on maybe your own device is down. You quickly sign in on another person's device, and after signing in, you just leave your account there like that. So you should be able to check your login devices. So whatever account you're using, so you should be so there are dedicated platforms for that. So you can check your article sections and review them and end the sections that you don't need anymore, right? So remove unknown third-party access, right? So I know some Microsoft and Google have made everything easier for us to just sign in with Google. So you just click on sign in with Google and you just accept all the prompts that Google gave you, right? So Google, of course, they are trusted, but the platform that you're giving them or that they are giving all those access, they might not be trusted. So they might they might have another motive, right? They might hack you or collect your data. So that's why you need to remove unknown third-party access. So any third-party access that you've trusted in the past, you can remove them. So if you feel like you don't trust them anymore. So passwords and breach checks. So reduce password, reuse, and quickly check whether email has appeared in known breaches. So we have password managers like your Bitwarden, 1Password, and Proton Pass. So, but I'll be recommending Bitwarden, right? So Bitwarden is a password manager platform. So we use it to store passwords. So you don't want to use the same password for 20 accounts. So that means if an hacker gain access to one account, they gain access to your remaining account, right? So that means you need to have different passwords for different applications or different social media accounts. So you need to create unique passwords. And when you're creating passwords, don't just use your name and your date of birth. You need to use something unique, right? Something that is unique that the hackers will have hard time trying to hack, right? So it's recommended that you use a capital letter, symbols, and numbers. You use them in combination to create a very strong password. And this time around, you are not trying to remember them because you are not storing, because you are storing them in a password manager. So it can be very long as you want because your password manager is there for you to actually store them and you can use them. So I also have a website here called the Have I Been Pwned? So pwned.com. So this one you can input your email. So you can input your email and actually check if your email has appeared in a data breach or something. So we use that. I'm trying to open the website. So you put your email address. So the name of the website is, the URL is Have I Been Pawned? So you input your email address. So once you input your email address here, so let me just do this. So it will check. So you can see my email address doesn't have any data breaches. So it will check for any data breaches. So if your email has appeared in any data breach, it will show you, it will list it out here for you. So it is a very good website for checking if your data, your email has appeared in any breach. So it's very, very important. Okay, let's continue. All right, so MFA and physical security keys. So you need, I've talked about the Authenticator app, Microsoft Authenticator, Google Authenticator. So they are all Authenticator apps. So those are good, right? Good for your security. To make it better, you need Authenticator app plus backup codes stored safely and recovery settings check, right? You also need those ones. And the strongest for you is a physical security key. So examples of physical security key are the YubiKey 5C NFC, the Google Titan, and the FEITAN. So those are physical security keys. So see them like a flash drive, right? That you insert into your device to actually gain access to your account. So that means an attacker can never gain access to your account once you activate this security key. It's impossible unless they gain access to your whole laptop, right? Your whole device or your phone, but they cannot gain access to your individual account, your social media account, your content management system, and so on and so forth. So the physical security key is the strongest form of protection for your account. So, okay. So it's the strongest for your. So the next one on this slide is the Google Advanced Protection. So we also have a protection developed by Google so that can help journalists. So it requires stronger sign-in protection. So it requires stronger sign-in protection. It is used for advanced protection and everything. So Google has their own, and Microsoft also has their own. So the next one there is the transparency report. So we also have Google Transparency Report. So the URL for the website is transparencyreport.google.com. So once you go to the website, you can input any URL. So put any URL and it will check for any wrongdoings, right? So if that URL, if that website has been involved in a data breach in the past, or hackers have used it to gain access to people's accounts, so you see it from there. So that's Google Transparency Report. So protect your phone and laptop. So use a strong screen lock, update phone, laptop, browser, and apps. So avoid random apps and browser extensions. So review location, microphone, camera, and contact permission, and turn on encryption, backup, and remote lock or wipe. So the backup and recovery plan. So as I said earlier, so you need to have external hard drive backup. So at least 2 terabytes, depending on the kind of stories you publish and the kind of files you store, right? So you need an external hard drive. So you can get that from your local store. So, but I'll be recommending you get the solid state drive because those are faster. So you can transfer files faster, right? Compared to the hard disk drive. So I have an external hard drive backup and a secure cloud backup. Very important. So that when something happens to your hard drive, your cloud is there. It's safe and sound, and you can retrieve your files from there. So, and we also have a device protection. Mutai actually talked about this yesterday. So the pouch is called Faraday pouch. So it's a signal blocking bag that can reduce live tracking by blocking wireless communication while a phone is inside. So once you put your phone inside the pouch, it blocks signals, right? Mobile network signals, Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, GPS. So they can't track you while your phone. So you can use this when you are going to sensitive areas, right? So so that people will not be able to track your location, your current location, and it will stop that tracking. So that's a Faraday pouch. So field reporting safety, avoid public computers for sensitive accounts. Do not leave device unlocked or unattended. Avoid live location during sensitive coverage. Carry only the data you need. Backup important material securely. So that's it. So we also have safe browsing, safer browsing and public Wi-Fi. So don't use a public Wi-Fi. I will just say it like that. So don't use a public Wi-Fi in the sense that maybe a bank Wi-Fi, airport Wi-Fi. So don't use them. So because once an attacker it's not about the organization Wi-Fi. It's not about maybe it's any bank Wi-Fi now. It's not actually about their own Wi-Fi, but an attacker can go into the bank and sit down like a regular customer and actually gain us, because once the attacker connects to that Wi-Fi and other people also connect to the same Wi-Fi, they can easily gain access to people's devices. Yes, through the Wi-Fi. It's very, very easy to do, right? Because both of you are on the same network. So since you're on the same network, traffic is flowing through your network. So that means they can easily gain access to it. So they can stop traffic and redirect the traffic to themselves. So that's why it's very important. Don't use public Wi-Fi. And if you must, use a virtual private network. That's a VPN, right? And it's a trusted one like that. So also use a Tor browser. So if you are dealing with sensitive material, use Tor browser. So Tor browser is safer than your Chrome and your Microsoft Edge. Yes, very safe, because it was built by white hackers. So white hackers are people that protect. So we have two types of hackers: the red hackers and the white. So the white hat hackers are the people that protect people from falling victim to hackers, right? And how do you know you have been hacked? So account login, so you will see unknown login alert, password stop working, MFA codes you did not request, recovery email or phone change, strange messages sent from your account. So you keep seeing signs. So the signs will be there, but most times you won't even see a sign, because sometimes the hacker just wants to how will I put it? They just want to monitor you, right? So they won't give you any sign. They won't give you any obvious signs. So they just monitor you till they get the required information they are looking for. So that's why it's very important to always look for any issue with your device, with your phone, with your laptop. You just unknown apps or extension, unusual battery drain. Sometimes it's not even your battery, it's the hacker trying to do something. So if something goes wrong, stop the affected device. Stop using the affected device, change your password, reset your MFA, inform your editor. So when one contact if your account sends malicious messages. So this is just a digital security starter pack. So your password manager, your sensitive messaging. So I didn't talk about that. So that's a Signal. So Signal, we use it for sensitive messaging. So it's stronger than your WhatsApp. So if you want to, if you are communicating with your resources and you need a stronger messaging platform, it's a more safer rather, not stronger. So it's safer platform to communicate with your resources and everything. So you can use a Signal. So Signal is just like WhatsApp, but it's more secure, right? So everything is encrypted. So even though an hacker gain access, they won't be able to gain access to your chats or your files that you share. So these are the starter packs. So so I want everybody to actually make use of all this. So the Danger Zone is an app that you can download on your device, and you can use it to scan documents or links. So the virus tutor, so link checks, you can use it to, so like the video we watched that the guy clicked on the link. So instead of clicking on the link, just copy the link and paste it in this virus tutor. So the final checklist: think before you click, use unique passwords, turn on MFA, protect your phone, protect your sources, So handle suspicious files safely and back up all files and report suspicious activity early. All right, so thank you very much for that. So that's where I'll end this.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Akinimi, for that wonderful session. You know, it's a lot. You know, as an investigative journalist, we have to be on guard, both physical, digital, even legal, and all sorts. So it's a lot, and I'm very sure that people have, you know, learned a lot of things. So, thank you so much, Mr. Akinimi, for that insightful section once again. Now, we now to take a few questions from our participants. So let's drop our question on the chat box. Or if you want to speak, you can kindly raise up your hand and let us do that in the next 5 minutes so that we can proceed to the next session. Let's have the question. No, the question is about how the hackers can, you know, penetrate. So let us hear from us. We have a question.
Yeah, Junior Francis.
And also in the chat box, we've dropped attendance link. You know, let us try to fill it. It's very, very important. So we have to have that detail from our back end. Thank you. So let's have your question. Okay, we have a question from Fawaz Adebisi. He said, please, are hotels Wi-Fi too considered unsafe? Perhaps maybe, you know, you have to log in a hotel to carry out an investigative story. Are hotel Wi-Fi too unsafe?
I'm raising my hands.
Fawaz Adebisi.
All right. So thank you very much, Fawaz, for the question. So as I said earlier, so hotel Wi-Fi, it's not about the hotel, it's not about the banks, it's not about the airport. It's not really about their Wi-Fi, but so hotel Wi-Fi can be unsafe. Let me just put it like that, because the level of risks depend on the hotel security and your own precaution, right? Because some hotels, so they just have networks and they don't have security. So they don't tighten their security, right? So that means if someone, if you and hacker, if you and the hacker, you are both on the same network, so they can easily gain access to your credentials, to your account, or anything. So, and another thing you should know that some attackers actually go as far as creating a public Wi-Fi that looked exactly like the hotel or the banks, right? So they will make it look as if, so they will use the exact name. So if, for instance, GTB is GTB Wi-Fi Ikeja, they will use that exact name and you don't know. So you connect. And they'll even make it passwordless, like no password. So you'll be like, okay, this is good and great. You just connect and your data are gone just like that. So that's why we need to be very, very conscious of the kind of network we connect to, the kind of devices we use to log in and everything.
All right, thank you. We have please sign your meeting. Let's hear from you.
Can I ask my question now?
Yeah, right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stefan. This very interesting section. I enjoyed it. Well done. So, but my question has to do with you saying that sometimes they can't be able to hack you without you actually playing a part in it by clicking something. But about 3 or 4 days ago, my Telegram account was hacked, and the person that hacked it was sending pawns to people. And the funny thing is that I hardly I hardly use that Telegram account. In fact, I can't remember the last time I was on that. So I didn't click anything. I hardly use it, and yet people were calling me, sending me messages that look at. Some people were even screenshots. So that is why, and I didn't click it. I hardly use it, and yet it was hacked. Secondly, you said one of the ways to protect ourselves before we click maybe a link is to actually maybe make a call, 1 or 2 calls to the. But what about if is an international organization? Maybe you see something from an organization, okay, let's say media, something that has to do with media. Maybe you want to apply for a fellowship, you want to apply for a grant, and it's coming from international place. You know that if whatever is coming, there will be a WhatsApp link there will be a phone number there, and these people are not local, the person you want to call. So my belief is that if I call the number there, I'm still calling the hackers. So it's not like the regulation they are sending out call for application, so you can just say, oh, let me come or try you. So I don't know, but I don't think it will work if it has to do with international organizations. So how do we navigate that?
All right. Thank you very much, Juliana Francis, for the question. So I'll start with the first question, your Telegram application that was asked. Yeah, so generally I said that I was just speaking generally that sometimes you don't need to do anything, right? Sometimes you need to do something before they will gain access to your account, but sometimes also they can gain access to your account without you doing anything, right? And the ways they can gain access is through your phone number. So if they know your phone number and your phone number is part of like a data breach, because when you sign up to some platforms, some platforms actually sell your data to some external parties. Yes. So they sell your emails, they sell your so that's why sometimes you even see that you get mails from a random site that you didn't even sign up on, right? So that means they sold your data to external bidders. So that's it. So they can actually gain access without you doing anything, because they already have your credentials, they already have your email, they already have your phone number and everything. So all they just need from you at that moment is a verification code to be able to log into your Telegram. And since they already have your number, they can also and since they already have your number and email, they can get the verification code. It's very, very simple and very easy to do, because they already have your 2 most important credentials, which is your email and your number. So that's why I gave you a site, Have I Been Pwned? So that Have I Been Pwned, you can actually use it, put your email, and check if your email is part of a data breach. So if it's part of a data breach, they will give you the necessary steps to follow to actually remove it from those platforms, right? And to the second question, that you might apply for a grant or something in an international organization, right? So the thing is, when you see any messages, when you receive any messages, right, on your email or your phone or anything, so the email is asking you to do something, is directing you to an action, and is asking you to click on this link, or is asking you to download the app, the first thing you need to do, if it's asking you to click on anything, just copy that link. So copy the link. So there's a way you can copy the link. Just highlight it. Copy. Don't click on it. Just copy the link, and you go to Virus Total. So it was part of the list, the tools that I listed in my slide. So virustotal.com. So you can use that to actually check the link. If this link is actually okay, if it has a malicious document or anything, you see it there. So you don't need to click on it, because the moment you click on it, then it's gone. So that's it. So yeah, I understand. So sometimes it might be a real grant, it might be a real job interview, it might be a real thing. So, but at the same time, you need to have a zero trust mindset. What I mean by zero trust mindset is, even if it's WSIG that is sending you something, you need to verify and fact check first. Look at the domain. They can clone WSIG domain. It can be WSLJ. and you won't know wslj.org. So you think, oh, this is Violation Income Center, and they are opening a call for application for a training, and you just quickly click on it, and because you trust the WSIG, right? But they've actually cloned the domain. So one thing I said earlier is that they follow your activities online. So anybody that is trying to gain access to you, if you are maybe you are writing stories about someone very important, they will look for hackers, they will look for people, they will employ them, and they will do a proper research about you. The kind of event you go to, the kind of website you go, the kind of because all these informations are online, so they will easily get them, and they will use that to actually target you. So that's it.
All right. Thank you.
Sir.
So we have
Hello, sir.
2 more questions
Hello.
on the chat box. So let me just take it so that we can have them.
I also
So
have a
from
question.
Felicia Nwosu, she said, these days, every event and meeting needs us to register. Do we need to be generating new emails every time to stay safe and secured? And also from Pauline, she said, good morning, all. Can they also get one through a colleague's Wi-Fi? Yeah, so that is, and someone, okay, this is Friday. When your account expired like Telegram, WhatsApp, and like, okay, when your account expired like Telegram, WhatsApp and website hackers can have access to the expired account, is asking the question. And if they didn't open the Telegram account, people use their phone's number to open an account. So it was asking that if they access your Telegram or WhatsApp, will they also have access to your phone number since you use your phone number to register? So let us have that, your response on the 3 questions so that we can move to the next session.
Mr. Nuruddin. Mr. Nuruddin.
Hello?
I also have questions.
Okay, can you make it brief?
Yes. My first question has to do with we are in the north here, and Boko Haram members, bandits, they are now active on TikTok, active on Twitter. They use a clone account. They even ask us they are even giving grants to people like loan or free money. And people are applying, they are getting money from them. Only for the beneficiary to realize that those who are sending money to them are bandits. So what do we do in that circumstance? That is one. I want to commend you for this lecture. Can you please make it available to us so that it can be a daily guide? We have that. So then the third aspect is the fact that it seems we are all endangered completely, and we need to be extremely careful in whatever we are doing. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So for the accounts, so the TikTok, yeah, so the TikTok account, so so the bandits, they request for account numbers and everything. So the only thing about that one is to prevent yourself, don't send anything to anybody, right? So that's why I usually discourage people from even sending their own bank account and sending it and publishing it online, right? Because sometimes you don't know who is who, you don't know what people want to do, because even they can actually track you through your bank account, right? Because from your bank account, your BVN is linked to it, your NIN is linked to it, right? So your location is there and everything is there. So that's how they actually track people, because they actually use a software that they can use to gain access, not to your bank account, just to your information that's linked to your account, right? Because for you to create a bank account in Nigeria today now, you use your BVN, right? So, and your BVN is linked to your NIN and everything. So most important informations are there. So that's how they track people. So as I said earlier, that hackers, they don't have a magic wand, right? They still need to get information from somewhere. They still need you to do something, right? They still need to do something, and before they get the access. So that's it. And for Pauline, so he said, can they also get one through a colleague's Wi-Fi? As I said, so it's not really about the public Wi-Fi. It's not really about the Wi-Fi. So it's about the kind of security that is attached to that particular thing, right? So, or in the environment that you are using that Wi-Fi. So, if the attacker is also connected to that same Wi-Fi, then they can actually get you. So that's just it. So once the attacker and also you, so once both of you are on the same network, so it's just, so networks are just data packets that is being sent through the internet, right? So that means, so all the messages you are sending through the internet on WhatsApp, how you doing, everything, they are data packets. So data packets can easily be intercepted, and they can easily be redirected, right? So maybe you sent an account number to someone, and they can actually redirect the message, or they can even change the message. That's how easy it is to. So since both of you are on the same, you've given them the permission to do and undo. That's just it. So that's why I keep saying it's not really about the Wi-Fi. It's about who is connected with you on that same Wi-Fi. So that's why I usually preach it, that don't just connect to public Wi-Fi. So that's just it. Don't just connect, but we don't know who is currently in that environment with you. So you never can tell. And if you must, use a VPN, right? So use a VPN to actually protect yourself. So VPN is a little bit it's not easy to set up, but once you do, you enjoy using it. Mr. Friday has said, when your account expires, like Telegram, WhatsApp, and website hackers can have access to the expired accounts. Not really. So they can't have access to your expired account. So the only time they have access to your account is if the numbers associated or the emails associated with that account is involved in a data breach. It has been leaked before. You have used it to sign up on on a platform that is not trusted. That's the only way they have access to that particular account. Because once they have your data, they have your website, your email, and your number, then it's over for that account. So there's nothing you can do again. They'll gain access to it. So that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Question on when I asked that every event or meeting they request for our registration, do we need to be opening new email every time that you want to register for a particular, to attend any particular event, or what? Because you said we should be changing our password and all that. Do we need to, if I want to register for an event now, do I need to open a new email, or how do I do it to avoid being to try to be secured?
No, you don't need to open another email. So you can still use one email for any event you are trying to apply for, or anything, any grant you're applying for. So the only thing is, you just have to make sure that the platform you are putting your email is a trusted platform, right? So you have to make sure. So once it's a trusted platform, then you can use that email. And about the password, you use a password manager, right? So you create a unique password. So not your name and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or some people even use their date of birth. It's very, very easy to actually hack. So that will take less than two seconds to actually hack. But once you have a unique password, at least 10 characters, different symbols, different letters, capital letters, lowercase, number, symbols, everything combined together to form a unique password. So that we actually help secure your, and passwords alone. So then your email will be secure, your your social media accounts is secured and everything else is actually secure. So all the social media accounts, all your social media apps, your X, your LinkedIn, all of them are. So if you don't know how to set it up, you can actually watch a video on YouTube, how to set up multi-factor authenticator.
Pressure environment. Shinyere Ugo, it's nice to have you, and over to you. Thank you.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning. We can. Good morning.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you again. At this point, I feel like a journalist, even when I'm not. It's really a pleasure to be here with you and to speak to you again in mental health conversation.
Please.
Pardon?
Your audio is a bit low, please. I can hardly hear what you say.
Okay, can you hear me now? Yes, I am at the max of my audio. Can you hear me now? Okay, I
Yes.
see. Okay, I see thumbs up. Okay, great. Awesome. So permit me to go ahead and share my slides so that I'm going to do a slideshow. Can you see my slide?
Yes, we can. We can.
Okay, great. So when I got I think there was conversation back and forth, and I got this topic, and I thought, it's a very interesting topic because many a times we forget that for everything we invest in, everything that we put our hearts to, even when we volunteer, even when it's a paid work, that there are costs to it. And truly, truly, there are costs to being an investigative journalist. Just a little part of what I've heard our last speaker talk about, how the work that you do puts you in the line of being targeted intentionally, for a layman like me, that is already scary. So for somebody like you in that space who is constantly targeted because maybe you're speaking about something or somebody, I mean, for you to do it, I think kudos, it takes a lot of courage. But again, there's a cost to it. And this is what we want to talk about. But the focus here is for us to work on building resilience, building psychological resilience, so that you're able to continue to do what it is that you love to do. So what are the objectives of our conversation? I want us to be able to recognize psychological risks that come with the work, the stress that comes with the work. I want us to identify some resilience strategy and then build a personal resilience plan. What you're going to notice in the work that in this conversation that we have for the next couple of minutes is that I want to make it as interactive as possible. So this is not going to be me lecturing you. I will be facilitating the conversation, but I want to encourage us to drop messages in the chat box and talk, because that's where we learn from each other. So I'm going to ask you questions as we go along. I'm going to prompt you to put feedback in the chat box so that we can see. But I must let you know that it's important that if you're not comfortable about something, that you don't have to put it in the chat box, because everybody can see what you have put. So once you're okay with the conversation, then you can, with the question, then you can go ahead and put it in the chat box. So the first activity is that I want to ask you, drop it in the chat box. How often do you cover distressing stories? How often do you cover distressing stories? Weekly, monthly, occasionally, rarely? Just type it in the chat box. How often do you cover distressing stories? Weekly, monthly, occasionally, and then rarely?
Yeah, we are having them dropping it on the chat box.
Okay.
We have the monthly people daily, some weekly, some occasionally.
Okay.
Yeah, some often.
Okay. Okay. Come on, let's drop it. Okay. You see occasionally, often, daily,
Let's keep it
often,
going.
okay. So we
Occasionally.
have weekly, monthly, occasionally, or rarely.
Yeah, often.
Occasionally, okay. Weekly, okay. All right. Nobody here has said rarely. Okay. Okay. So keep dropping it as we chat in the conversation. But I think that one thing I want you to do is that I want at every point when we have this talk that you actually pause and think about the reality of what you are saying. We're not saying how often do you cover interesting conversations. No, distressing. Distressing. So that means it's putting pressure on you. That means it can be overwhelming emotionally. That means it's stressing you out. That means you're finding that you're struggling to sleep as a result of what you have experienced. If you're saying weekly, think about it. Every week, you're covering something that is a burden. You're covering your stories. You're covering information that is causing you pain, that is causing you troubles, that is causing you distress. If you have not taken time to sit back and think about it, I think you should. And that's because it's the nature of the work. It comes with that. So if you're doing it weekly, if you're doing it daily, even if you're doing it occasionally or monthly, the reality is that you're constantly exposing yourself to something that is causing you stress. And what do we know about stress? When you feel stressed, emotionally, your body suffers, your cortisol level goes up, physically, your body suffers, every part of you suffers. So, why is my slide not moving? Okay, good. This is what I'm talking about, the actual cost. When we say vicarious trauma, we mean a distress or a pressure that you feel by proxy. It's not directly, but because I'm engaging with somebody who is going through pain, because I'm engaging with someone who is going to distress, I begin to feel distress. That is what vicarious trauma is. You begin to feel the pain or the distress because you're engaging with somebody who is already feeling it. So it did not happen to you. Maybe you went and you covered the case of an accident. It's not you that it happened to. It happened to somebody else. But because you're engaging with that person, you begin to feel the pain of that person. You begin to feel like it's too much for you to handle. Burnout. Burnout. When you begin to lose productivity, you don't want to talk to anybody. There's a level of isolation that you have. Your work begins to decline because of the pressure that comes with the work. If you look at my picture, I like to show this picture every time I talk about stress and every time I talk about burnouts. It happens very, very slow. At first, you're a very nice journalist going out, with all the strength that you have. And then the pressure starts to build. It starts to build, it starts to build. And eventually, you're this matchstick at the end who is completely burnt out. If there's anything that you take away from this conversation, remember this picture. Because if you do not take care of yourself, you end up being like this matchstick that's completely burnt out. Moral injury. I know we struggle with that moral injury because sometimes you're thinking to yourself, what has happened to this person? Versus how do I feel about it? Versus do I want to report? Versus I want to report? Versus I don't want to report. You're constantly having to face this moral questions about, but how can this person do this? You have to deal with it yourself. And it's how do I even report this in a way that I'm safeguarding the survivor? How do I report conversations in a way that I'm not causing more harm to the person? How far can I go in terms of what information do I give? Oh, I don't believe in this. You find that you're going to also struggle with those things about your value, what is important to you versus what is important as a journalist. What should I put out there versus what I believe? It brings a lot of cognitive dissonance, we say in the work that we do in the sense that what I believe versus what I'm doing, they might be two different things. And you find that as an investigative journalist, you might also struggle with that. Because sometimes what you report versus what you believe are two different things. Or even the life that you live, they could be two different things. Compassion fatigue. Compassion fatigue happens a lot when you're in the space of caring for people, when you're in the space of going to get information about people that are also, it's just like burnout, but but compassion fatigue is a bit different in the sense that you stop caring. It's like the human factor, the humanness of the person is taken away from the conversation. You don't see the human being anymore. It's just a story. It's just a number. At some point, you might find that because you're so desensitized or because you're so exposed to these things day in, day out, you get very desensitized. It's no longer a human being. It's not a name. It's no longer a person. It's just a number for you now, right? Give me a second. It's just a number for you. And so that's what happens when you experience compassion fatigue, that you don't see the human being anymore. If you ever find yourself in this space, it's important that you start to backtrack, in the sense that you have to take a step back to say, okay, what's going on? Because you cannot lose the human factor in the sharing of the information that you're sharing. It's very important. So let's talk. I want us to think about a story. I want just two people to think of a story that has stayed with you and think about the emotions that you felt. Just remember it. So what emotions do you still remember from that experience or that story that stayed with you? Just two people. Just unmute and just share your story with us.
Well, I have several. My name is
Okay.
Juliana Francis. I have several.
Please go for it. Just share one so somebody else can share another one.
So let me share the one. I've been in journalism now for almost over 20 years, and the first trauma story I covered.
Juliana, talk, please. Thanks. Go on, Juliana.
So the first trauma story I covered as a rookie, not even professional, because now I've covered several, but the one that I covered first was a man that was like, he was tied up by policemen, stripped, and they were inserting a broomstick into his penis. So while he was crying, I was crying too. No, but he stayed with me even up till now. I can still see the man. I can still see the picture, the way he looks, the way he was shivering. He was under the AC, but he was shivering, and up till now, I cannot forget it. And I'm talking about over 20 years.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. Would anybody else like to share a story and the emotions that you still remember? Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, we have someone, Felicia.
Okay, yes. My name is Felicia. What happened was a child was missing in the neighborhood. So I was asked to come and after like 2 days, the child was found. But before then, a neighbor was already accused, taken to the police, that she has killed or you've taken for ritual and all that. So after 3 days, when I came back, we were able to find the child inside a deep freezer. So it was more like he was playing with other children, hide and seek or something, and they locked him up in that freezer. So they didn't remember he was there till that event happened, I don't know, Thursday or Friday. So by the time they found the child inside the freezer, it was like the upper week. So it has already decayed, the child. So the way everything was, the site, the mother, the neighbor who was falsely accused and was rough-handled by police and others. So it was just a very, very sad situation. And the emotion of everyone concerned was something that really hit me so hard. So up to today, I still remember what the scene was at that particular time. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
My name is
okay, please go ahead.
Mary Abayam.
Yes, I see there's Sunny. Yes. There's Sunny. Sunny's hand was up. Please go ahead, Sunny. Share your story.
Oh my. Can I share mine?
Sunny's hand was up, if you don't mind. Then after him, we'll just come to you, please.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah.
All right, good morning.
Hello.
Can you hear me, please?
Okay.
Good
Yes,
morning.
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Sunday.
Actually, mine was the coverage of the 2012 flood in River State. You know, we're all in Port Harcourt covering the flood, and we thought that the flood was just the usual thing we see on telly and all of that. We didn't know that deep in the rural communities, people were suffering. So at the point, my editor asked me to go to a particular community in one of the remote local government areas. I got there, not knowing what to expect. But by the time I walked into the communities and I saw the physical suffering of the people and how the flood ravaged the communities and how they put, both the sick and the healthy together in classrooms, it was very traumatic. As a matter of fact, my trauma also stemmed from the fact that I knew as a then that the state government budgeted billions of naira, to take care of the flood victims, and it was all over the news how flood victims were enjoying, how they resettled them very well, and all of that. But going to the communities and witnessing how they packed people. As a matter of fact, one of the persons I interviewed then had I don't know the scientific name they call this stuff, but his genital, his penis, was so over bloated and so big that he couldn't even walk, and they kept him with people, healthy people in the same room, and everywhere was smelling, that was very, very traumatic. Till today, whenever I hear of flood, I recall that experience, and it's still, it's something that I still live with till today.
Can I also ask you? Can I ask you? I want to just stay with you a little bit. When you said something, and I'm wondering, were you able to actually report the truth of the situation versus what the government was reporting?
I did. As a matter of fact, the Commissioner of Information then, who was a very good friend of my editor, reported me to my editor because of the story I did. And luckily for me, while I was still in the community, the general overseer of the church that the deputy governor's wife was attending, the man was also a spiritual father to her, came, visited the community with helicopter, with his church members, and they came with some relief materials, and they came with pressmen, and by the time I came back to the city and I monitored the story that the other journalists that came with the pastor did, I was so shocked that they actually reported the story from, an angle that was not reflective of the actual situation on ground. And I did the story. It was a big feature story, and the Commissioner of Information reported me when they traveled to Calabar, I think few weeks later for Editors Guild meeting, and there she reported me to my editor. But I was happy that I did the story, and I was also happy that my editor defended me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Great. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's have Mr. Yusuf Ali.
Please hold on. We have so many hands up, and I'm also looking at time.
Okay, so let us have two people so that we can move on. Can you hear me?
What did you say? Let us have what?
I said let us have two more people so that we can move on. Mr. Yusuf Ali and Mr. Olawale
Let's have two more people and then we'll move on.
Two more people. All right.
Mary Fatou, please.
Okay, we'll get to you, madam. You'll be the third person. Okay. I can hear someone say Chinyere. It's Chinyere.
So let's make it brief. All right.
Chinyere.
Mr. Yusuf, Mr. Yusuf Ali, you can go ahead, sir.
Yes.
Please go on, sir.
I covered a protest, non-payment of pensions of pensioners. And while covering the protest, one of the pensioners slumped and died on the spot. That really shaped my life forever. And one of the takeaways I got from that incident was that I must prepare for my old age. I never paid attention to it before, but when I saw what happened to him, and I'm still haunted by the man's death, because I was closer to him watching the protest. And for a man to slump and die in my presence, it really haunted me. Mm.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you.
I reported the story, but a dead man could not get justice. He has gone and he has gone forever.
Wow, thank you. Who is the second speaker?
Okay,
And then
Mr.
we'll have the lady who spoke. The lady that was speaking would speak last.
Yeah. So, Mr. Walawale, let's hear from you. Make it brief, please.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, madam. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, thanks for this privilege. So yeah, mine, it happened, I think, 4 years ago. So I was told about an event around Jakonde area where an elderly man of, I think, so some said it was 73, 72, and some said it was 69. So I just had my reality around, oh, let's say 70. So this man defiled a 3-year-old girl. And so I got there, I was surprised. And so they made me to realize that he had several of them. So I saw about 8 kids. So he said he was helping them. He said he was a pastor, he was doing things. And so they've tried to confront him a couple of times. It didn't work. They've involved the police, they would arrest him and release him after. So I went there. And so I met the kid, and so I was engaged. And the kid, he couldn't even talk to me, and I was crying. I was like, "What's going on?" So they showed me a video of the same girl, and I'm telling you a true life story. I saw the video somebody took from the window when the girl was trying to, it was trying to help the man. The girl was the one doing it. The small kid was the one imputing the man's penis in her vagina. It was crazy. And so I went there. I was like the messiah of all because they all came out. The community. It was as if the commissioner of police was around. The crowd was massive, and so by the time I got in, we broke the back door. They broke the back door because the man was already at the police station. So I realized that at the backyard, the man had about 2, 3 plots of land. It was a forest. You will never imagine there was something like that. So they didn't know, just a few people. People were crying. I was crying as well. And so we saw pickups decayed about 4, 5, 6. This there were powerful people in charge of this. So the trauma of the story. And I said, okay, so how come you guys have not been talking? They said it's been happening for years. So they said, oh, they've had journalists came around to work, and after they would tell them, no, we are no more coming. There is threat and all of that. But I did the work. I was not paid because nobody I did the work and I got back home. I couldn't sleep. So I had to delete the videos. They kept on sending me videos. At the point I told them, please stop sending and stop sending. I'm not interested in what you're sending. But I'm going to work. So I packaged a kind of dispatch, a kind of documentary for radio. And I was able to use it on I think 3 different radio stations because I was interested in it. But I couldn't follow up because of some of the things that was involved. So that was a trauma for me for a couple of times before I got healed and moved on.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. And the last speaker.
Okay. My story has to do with the Akim Mushiri family. The woman was battered by the police and she died in their custody. Before I stumbled into the story, before I started writing, I went to the police to find out what happened and why she died. And the police officer gave me newspapers to read that I should take from what my colleagues wrote. And I told him I don't work for them, that I came for my own investigation. Fast forward, she died in their custody on the 13th, and she died on the 8th. Prince wrote that they interviewed her on the 13th. She died in IROT custody. So I started my investigation. I went with my colleague Evelyn Usman, to the husband's house. When we got there, I broke down immediately, 83-year-old man. And she said, you didn't come here to come and cry. Well, I tried to comport myself. I started my investigation. And I remember vividly the day I was with Oke Wanguma, and he called a particular print. The guy that did the story is one of the almighty print in Nigeria. I don't want to mention. And he asked the guy that did the story, did you say you interviewed this woman on the 13th and she said she keeps arms for armed robbers, and you went to, the police got to vicinity and she started running and she fell down and break her arm and she died? The guy was saying, Ogami, he said, no, just answer me. He didn't know I was there. And he said, yes. Then he told the reporter that I am going to call your chairman now. He said, oh, sir, sorry. I was given the story by the police. And I started my investigation. I got to lawsuit, the mortuary, and found out that the woman was battered. When I mean battered, and that was how she died. The politicians at Alausa, different people kept calling me. I was not picking. At the end of it all, I was pained because, one, the son from nowhere, they now tricked him that they were going to do the funeral for the mom and send him to South Africa. They buried the woman and never took him to any South Africa. That trauma, when I got to the morgue, seeing the body, her ear, the back, as she was battered, still in me. Anytime I pass through lawsuit, I feel it. Then secondly, another trauma was, I kept fighting consistently. I remember when they came to meet me, they called me where I was. I directed them to NAFRIC, Nigerian Forces Resettlement Center at Oshodi. And I told the Oga then, the AVM that was there then, years back, that some people are coming here in case I scream and all that. He said, no, we have cameras everywhere. They won't even dare it. And they came with their bag of money and all that, and I refused. And I was shocked when the son later declined. These are the things we face all the time when we try fighting for people, and at the end, they turn against you. But the main trauma was, one, when I got to lawsuit and I saw the body of the woman as she was battered, and our journalists almost all the print wrote the story that they interviewed the woman on the 13th when she died on the 8th. That trauma is staying me. That was why yesterday I still said it. I want to meet Mr. Yusuf that spoke, because that is one of the challenges we face. That trauma is staying me. That somebody died on the 8th, and journalists, they wrote that they interviewed her on the 13th, and she said she keeps going for armed robbers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing that story. I think just listening to everything that everyone that has shared and has experienced, it's awful. And it kind of brought me back to the cost of the work that you do. I think even beyond vicarious trauma itself, so direct traumatic experiences, like you have talked about, direct traumatic experiences like you have shared, it's part of what you experience, but it kind of brings me back again to the costs. And I keep on saying to myself that whatever it is that we sustain, whatever behavior we sustain, whatever action we sustain serves a purpose. In the sense that I know you do this work because perhaps it's a passion, perhaps you love helping people, perhaps it's also 9 to 5, it pays the bill. Whatever it is, something keeps you going. And I know that because of these costs, the bigger picture is what also keeps you going. But again, there are costs to it. I say this because many times we are not aware of the challenges that come with everything that we do. We just say, I beg, I've slept, I've woken up, I'm okay. And we keep on going. We don't know that things accumulate. We don't realize how it's compounding. And we don't realize how in sharing each other's experiences and stories, we are connecting with different people's pains, that it continues to pile up. And that if you do not take care of our body again, I keep reiterating it, there is a need for you to take care of yourself because of the line of work you do. There's a need for you to take care of yourself because of the line of work you do. There's a need for you to take care of yourself so that you're in a better position to do the work that you love to do. That's the way I want to phrase it. There's a need for you to take care of yourself so that you're in a better position to do the work that you love to do. So let's go back to signs that you may be struggling. This does not begin to cover the amount of problems that you could feel as signs that you can be struggling. Physically, emotionally, behaviorally, there are so many signs. You can get tired. The thought of going to work sometimes can feel very like a big deal. You can have aches and pains. Difficulty sleeping is the number one sign that we are having dysregulation in our body. When your sleep is beginning to be affected, you're not sleeping well, you're struggling to sustain your sleep. Maybe you're having nightmares. You're waking up to nightmares in your sleep. Those are signs that things are changing. Changes in your appetite. You might find yourself eating so much food, or you're not eating at all. You don't have appetite at all. Those could be some physical signs. For some of us, you see, we are always treating malaria. Every single time we are treating malaria. And you're wondering, Nami mosquito bite most. But you're constantly treating malaria, but your body is suffering. That's your body telling you, hey, look at me. Hey, focus on me. Emotionally, some people can get very irritable. Just talk to them once and then they lose it. They're snapping at you. They're getting angry with you. Other people can constantly worrying about themselves also and their future. I mean, I have worked with a journalist in therapy sessions, and then this is one thing I also see as a pattern, that the more the person is exposing themselves to distressing conversation, the concerns and the worries about their own future begins to suffer, about their life, about their children, about their loved ones. They are so worried about themselves and the family and, and even the system in general. Emotionally drained. You're feeling so exhausted and tired. You're feeling guilty whenever you rest, because many times we say the work needs to be done. We continue going. Then also behaviorally, you don't want to talk to people anymore. You start to withdraw yourselves from people. You want to just stay on your own. This is different from being introverted. Introverts have friends. But when you feel like you don't want to talk to anybody anymore, even your loved ones, you don't want to talk to your husband, your children, your friends, you just want to stay on your own, then it's also a challenge or a sign of something also being problematic. You're having difficulty concentrating. You can't remember things very much anymore. Those are signs of your body overprotecting you sometimes to the point that it begins to cause problems to your daily functioning. You're no longer staying present anymore. The things that you used to enjoy doing in the past, those pleasurable activities, it could be taking a walk, it could be exercising, it could be going out with friends. You find that you don't find pleasure in doing those things anymore. And for many of us, we're not taking breaks. We are going. You're struggling. Sometimes you're covering up something. You want to just keep working to cover up. You want to use work to cover up. You're constantly going. That's not the way the body is built. We're built to take breaks. We're built to rest. The religious people who are Christians, God rested. So it's a sign that at some point after work, there's rest. So if you find yourself constantly going, it's about what is it that you are needing to constantly do to numb or to forget or to deal with whatever it is that your struggles are or your challenges are. This is not exhaustive of all the list of signs that you may be struggling. But I think as a human being, if we are honest with ourselves, we know when we are struggling. Somebody will not tell you, but if you are honest with yourself, you know when things are off rhythm for you. You know when you're not yourself. You know when you don't feel like your normal self, even before other people notice it. If you're being honest with yourself, you will know. And many times it's a cue for you to step up and take care of yourself and do something better to protect yourself. Let's keep going. Let's talk about coping strategies. Please, in the chat box, what do you do to cope? What is working for you? What do you do to take care of yourself? Please chat with me. Tell me. Let's read together. What are you doing to take care of yourself? How do you take care of yourself? Someone shared their NSAS story. Thank you, Joseph, for sharing your NSAS story. What do you do to take care of yourself? What are you doing to take care of yourself? What do you do to take care of yourself? Share with me in the chat box. Okay, Juliana says eating a lot makes me feel less sad. Okay, everything in moderation, but thank you so much for sharing. I take break and rest a bit. Thank you, PC. What do you do to take care of yourself? If you're not doing anything to take care of yourself, it's also a sign that you are struggling. So what are you doing to take care of yourself? Please drop it in the chat box. Full spa day treatment, okay? That sounds very nice and delightful. Okay, so let's see. I see walking a lot also helps. Okay, oh, chat is going fast. Let's see. Walking a lot also helps. Reading online novels, very relaxing. Okay. I prioritize I prioritize my resting time. Okay, that's good. I do not go out of work frequently like I used to. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Exercise. All right. Thank you for sharing. Making out time to rest, though it's difficult. All right. Thank you. I think the effort counts, Felicia. Thank you so much for that. It's very important. It can be very difficult, but that making out time is very necessary and very needed. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? Okay, let's see. Taking breaks. Okay, that's good to hear. Taking breaks. When I feel overwhelmed, I watch cartoons. Oh, that's lovely. I think that it can also have a nice way of bringing out the nice side to life because it's very relaxing. So you say it takes my mind off depressing events. Okay, thank you, Esther, for sharing. Good food, watching football, and doing charity makes me makes me emotionally stable. All right, great. I try to sleep very well. Thank you. Thank you. That is really good. So let's go ahead and drop the chats so that we are also learning from each other. Watching funny videos and laughing out loud. Great. I think that's really good. So it's good to see that there are things that we do to take care of ourselves. It's very important because you need I think in the line of the work you do, you see so many bad parts of life. You see so many negativity in life. You're constantly, if you think about it, you're constantly faced with those bad parts of life. And because you have to share those information, you're constantly faced with those distressing parts of life. So having things that take you out of that headspace. Someone says I do regular check-ins and I create timetables for myself to rest. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I try to sleep and watch movies. Okay, interesting ones that make me laugh. Oh, great. Thank you for sharing that. So taking breaks or finding things that work for you, very, very important. I could give you 1,000,001 strategies, but the question is, what is working for you? What are you doing? Could it be calling loved ones? Could it be talking to trusted family members? Yeah, those things those things go a long way to help you take those breaks to take care of yourself. Sometimes it can be systematic. In the workplace, what is the organization doing to support their staff, right? Because it's one thing to say, oh, work-life balance, I'm doing this for myself. What does the system also do? Because the system also has to help the people that work within the system. You must take a step. So if you're in a place of in a HR role, if you're in a managerial space, if you're in a place where you're managing people, it's important that you ensure that the system is also supporting the individual efforts. Because as the individual is trying, people will say, there's no time, workplace, please. Let us step in as an organization also to support the people that we work with, to create a space that makes it easy for them to take care of themselves. Because remember, you have to take care of yourself to be in a better place to do what it is that you want to do or what it is that you enjoy doing. So I would have loved for us to do a case study just to talk, but I'm also looking at the time and I'm going to move on. So please forgive me. But I just wanted us to talk about a scenario, just a very short scenario, but I'm going to move on a bit for the sake of time. So, resilience. This definition of resilience for me is very, very important. Because I know if I ask anybody, what is resilience? Bouncing back, bouncing back. But if I had to tell you, after you've experienced what you have experienced, there's a sound. If I had to tell you, after you have experienced what you have experienced, have you bounced back? Have you gone to the person you were before you witnessed those things that caused you stress? And your answer would be no. Can you ever go back to the person you were before you experienced those things, before you had those encounters? And if we're being honest, the answer will be no. And what is the reason? Memory. You can never forget. It's a blessing and a curse. You can never forget. Once you've experienced something, once you've encountered something, you can never be the person you were before that experience. So I have a problem with people say, oh, bouncing back. It's not about bouncing back to who you were before. You're never going to be that person. But it's about who are you going forward. So it's about moving forward in spite of the adversity, in spite of what has happened to you in the past, in spite of your experiences, in spite of your trauma, in spite of your fear. It's about moving forward, going forward. Who is this person now? Advancing despite adversity. And it's never in the negative. Once you find that you're doing things like drinking alcohol or engaging in self-harming activities, then you're not even taking care of yourself enough to have resilience. Resilience is always healthy. It's always healthy. And it's about using positive coping skills, like the rest that we have talked about, speaking to loved ones, spending time with family members, exercising, doing something different outside of the work that you do to breathe. That's what builds resilience. You're in a space now to build resilience. Nobody is born with resilience. It's a skill, it's like a muscle. You have to exercise it. What are some of the things and ways that you can build resilience? One, it's very funny, saying this when you are constantly engaged with the dark, the negative, the unhealthy, the distressing. But resilient people, in spite of the adversity, you find that they are very optimistic. When people begin to lose hope, that is when things like suicidality and depression comes. Because it's like, I'm constantly engaging with all this negative news. I'm constantly engaging with all this distressing news. What is the good in life? Where is the good in life? And you don't see it. So, but you find that people who are resilient have a very optimistic outlook in life. And you have to practice it. It doesn't come naturally, like I talked about. Resilient people have support systems. They have very healthy support social circles. They're not necessarily the most extroverted people. Even when they're introverted, they have very healthy circles. They have people they speak with. Because sometimes you need someone to lift you out of that space. So you need to ask yourself again, what am I doing to stay in a healthy space? What am I doing that is positive, that helps me move forward despite what has happened to me? How do I move forward despite what has happened to me? So in that middle, what am I doing to take care of myself to move forward? And that's how you build resilience. That's where resilience comes from. So I want us to do something very practical. We're going to build a resilience worksheet. So, if you have a pen and a paper around you, I want to give you a little bit of a tool that helps you build resilience. We talked about signs that you may need support. That's the first way. Understand, okay, what are my signs? When does my body tell me I need to take a break? Or how does my body tell me? How does my mind tell me I need to take a break? How do I know? Because you know, if you're honest with yourself, you know. You know when things have changed. You know when you're struggling to sleep. You know when you're struggling to concentrate. You know when you're feeling very irritable. You know that. You need to identify what are my signs. Then number two, support circle. Who are the trusted people that I can speak to about the challenges that I'm going through? Who are the people that are trustworthy? Who are the people that can actually hold the information I'm giving to them? And I know that some people might struggle with this support circle. If you do not have a support circle, there's a professional approach or angle that you can take with the work that you do, right? You can decide to seek professional help. There are psychologists out there that can help you contain that information that you speak with, that information that you're dealing with. Even within the work that you do, I know that in the line of work I do, I also get to go into conflict areas and I get to engage with communities and people who deal with mental health as a result of conflict. So I know a bit about trauma and how that also works. And even as a practitioner myself, I can also get overwhelmed. So what we do in our organization is called a debrief, right? After we've engaged with distressing stories, as colleagues, we sit together and we say, what just happened to us? What did we experience? It's not even therapy in that space. It's about just talking about what it is that we have witnessed that we found overwhelming. In that space, just talking about it, talking through it is the first step to helping you manage the information that you have just taken in. So those support groups go a long way. So you can decide to do it with your group of with your fellow colleagues, or you can decide to do it with people outside of the space that you're working with. But it's important to have those support groups. What activities can you do to recover? What do I do to feel better? What are my coping strategies? We talked about coping earlier. What do I do to manage? What do I do to feel good? What activities make me happy? And not just activities, what healthy activities? If you find that alcohol is becoming your best friend, we have a problem. If you find that drug is becoming your best friend, we have a problem. Those are unhealthy ways of coping. Will you cope? Yes. But are they healthy? No. So we need to switch it up to something that is healthy, that adds value rather than taking away from you in the long run. What are your boundaries? What can I handle? What can I not handle? What is it that I want within my space? What is it that I do not want within my space? How do I manage my time? What are my boundaries? I am working Monday to Friday, this time to that time. Okay, for this month, I'll be working flexible. What are your boundaries? What is it that you can manage? And what is it that you cannot manage? This should be information on your resilience worksheet. So please take a picture of this, you take a note, and I want you to have this worksheet for yourself. It's important that you also take some time to review it. If it's working for you, if something is no longer working for you, then you review it and say, okay, what recovery activities can I include? What recovery activities have I learned from other people that I can include? You need to do the work for yourself. You know, why I'm not also taking that time to tell you what to do is it's something that you have to find out for yourself. What is working for you? That is what the conversation is also about. So I hope you do take that time to read to read through this conversation or to read through this worksheet and take your time to actually answer it and keep it for yourself. You can keep it in your office, you can keep it on your phone and have it as handy for you so that you can always refer back to it whenever you find that you are struggling. I want us to do a final exercise before we end this conversation. Please, if you can put your video on, that would be great. This is a breathing exercise, something that can help you relax in the workplace, on the road, not when you're driving, when you're the passenger, wherever you are. This is a little tool. It's a breathing exercise. It's called a box breathing exercise. So if you can put your camera on so that we can all breathe together. And you can also take this toolkit with you every single where you go. It's very simple. If you can see my screen, there's a person in the middle and there's a box, right? If you can go, inhale, hold, exhale, and hold. And every time we inhale, we're going to inhale for the count of 4. So we're going to inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4. We exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we take a break 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, now let me just add another layer to this. As you're inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, I want you to picture the line of inhale goes from the top, from the left to the right, right? And as you hold it 1, 2, 3, 4, come down the box because the hold arrow is down. As you exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, I want you to go to the left in your mind, draw that box. And as you're holding it for 1, 2, 3, 4, if you see the hold arrow, the second hold arrow points upwards, which completes the box. So we are doing so many things at the same time. We are breathing, we're counting, and we're imagining. So you're engaging different aspects of your senses. We're breathing, we're counting, and we're imagining. All right, so let's do it together. Okay, so we're going to start in 1, 2, 3. I want you to inhale for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it one more time together as a group. Inhale for the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for participating and being gracious. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. A lot has been said. I'm very sure everybody on this call has taken 1 or 2 things to work with, especially for the mental health. Thank you so much, Ugo. So let us have the question and answer session. Let us make it brief. You can drop your question in the chat box. And also, we have shared the link in the chat box. People can, send their personal, questions about their cycle health and, so that we can able to attend to that in the course run of the discussion. So let us have your quick questions. You can drop it in the chat box, or you can also, raise your hand virtually so that we can pick you to speak. Let's do this within 5 minutes so that we can move to the next thing on the agenda. Thank you. So let's have your question. Okay, this is coming from Jonathan Francis. Can a journalist overcome depression?
Yes, definitely. A journalist can overcome depression. It depends on the severity of your depression. We have the mild to the moderate to the extreme depression. Again, yes, you can overcome depression depending on what your presentation is. Some of them may require you to work on it yourself. Some of them may also require you to seek professional help. So whatever it is that you're experiencing, depending on the spectrum within which you fall, definitely you can deal with depression and manage it very well. Yes.
All right. Thank you. We have another one from Fawaz Adebisi. He says, thank you. Please, is it normal for a guy to have mood changes or mood swings like women? Like, is it normal for a guy to experience
It's
that?
a human experience. Emotions are human experience. There are no respect of gender. If you're a human being, you're going to have emotions. If you're a human being and you don't have emotions, I don't know what you are, but as a human being, you will have emotions. Emotions is not for the women. We may express our own a little bit more, but if you're a human being, you're going to have emotions. You're going to feel irritable. You're going to feel angry. You're going to feel low. You feel happy. You'll be sad. You're a human being and you have those array of emotions within you. So yes, anybody can feel anything at any point.
All right, thank you. So we have a comment from Idris Yao. Thank you, Ma. We have gained valuable knowledge and learned a great deal from this insightful session, just like everybody on this call. Yeah, it is so wonderful and a lot, we discussed. Do you still have more questions?
Yeah, I can see Mr. Sonny's hand is up.
All right.
If it's a new one,
Mr. Sonny Dada, please go ahead. Just make it brief. Thank you.
Yeah, I was actually typing the question, but let me ask at once. Thank you, Madam Chinyere. I really appreciate your session. It was an eye-opener and very refreshing. But I want to ask, what do you think happened to that photojournalist, that South African photojournalist that committed suicide after taking the pictures of a young boy and a vulture who eventually died because of no support, because of lack of support. You know, he took that picture and it made so much headlines and he made so much money from it. But eventually he took his life. He died out of depression or suicide. What do you think happened to him and what should he have done differently?
Okay, what happened to him? I don't know. He would be in the best position to tell us what happened to him, to be honest. We can't infer because we don't know what happened. All we saw was the results of what happened to him. He didn't tell us, you know. I wish we had that opportunity to have the conversation with him because yes, you're right. When we experience things, we don't know what it does to the mind. We don't know what struggles he's already even dealing with or he was already dealing with, that was the pushing point for him. You know, in as much as he got the accolades, he got the criticisms too. There's so many things that we don't even know that happened to him. That experience of seeing somebody who was close to death, that was a child. And then a vulture coming near that child was interpreting death. So you don't even know what his interpretation of that picture was. For many people, they will see it and they will say, oh my goodness, poverty in Africa. But for many other people, you're staring at death because that is what it evokes in you. So we would wonder what that was evoking in him, what that brought to mind, what that interpretation was for him. And behind all those, we don't even know what he was also dealing with as a journalist. We don't know other things that he has covered in the past. And maybe this for him was the boiling point, and he was like, "This is too much." You know, it's not. It's a lot to unpack. You know, to be honest, I don't know what happened to him, but for someone to get to that point where they feel like, when I talk about suicide, people don't commit suicide because they enjoy suicide or because they want to die. No, it's because they want to, there's a pain they are dealing with that they feel death is the only way to deal with that pain. It's not because they enjoy dying or they want to die. You know, I read an article, I read the research where people that have been attempting to commit suicide, they asked them, what emotions do they feel? They talked about fear, confusion, worry, sadness, like a mix of very intense emotion. So for many of them in that space, it's a need to escape that distress. It's not because they want to die. They feel like nothing else can solve it. Can you imagine a human being getting to that point in life where they feel like nothing in this world can solve the distress they are going through? It must have been very bad for that person. That's why when people are suicidal, it's an emergency. We don't play with it. Hospitalization immediately, because that is what they need in that space. So again, I don't know if he spoke up or if the people within his circle reached out to him, because if he did, he would have been hospitalized immediately for care and observation till he comes out of that space, and then he can seek further care down the line. So that's my 2 cents about that.
All right.
I said two questions.
Yes, we have that, Mr. Yusuf Ali. So let me go through the questions in the chat box. From Mr. Yusuf Ali, what can we do to allay the anxiety of our husband and wives on journalism? That is from Mr. Yusuf Ali. To the next question, from Mary, please kindly ask. Okay, is requesting for Mr. Yusuf and Stefan's number. From Mr. Sadiq Atonda, how does one overcome burnout? That is his question. Felicia Iwosu, when you keep having a mental picture of traumatic scene, and after trying all these strategies and it does not come out well, what else does the person need to do to have a normal life again? Another question from Mr. Yusuf Ali. Female journalists are increasingly finding it difficult to get husbands or enjoy stable marriage. What must have gone wrong? Jonathan Francis is asking. She's asking.
Okay, so I'm having too many questions at the same time. I want to go back so that I don't forget them. I want to go back to the conversation about family members, right? And their concerns.
Okay.
Yes. I think definitely our loved ones feel those anxieties that we feel when we go into those spaces. And because of the way we also respond, they might also be feeling overwhelmed. I think what we can do or what families can do is actually sit down and have a conversation around the things that you have also learned here in terms of managing fears and anxiety. The reality is that these concerns come with the nature of the job. You know, if you think about the work of a doctor, emergency, they're calling you 24/7, you're never really around. Some things come with the nature of the work. But let's have an honest conversation about the realities of the thing that I do. And this is what happens. And how can I take care of, I'm talking about the family, how can the family take care of themselves also while taking care of you, their loved one who is constantly exposed to this distress? One thing I find that happens is having this conversation with your family, teaching them what to do, that can help them. Anxiety is not a bad thing. It's not out of place to feel anxious. It's also a way of the body telling you there's something I'm fearful about. Because anxiety is worry, it's fear, it's concern. There's something I'm fearful about. What is that fear? What is that worry? What is that concern? It's pointing you towards something. And ask them the question, what are you worried about? How do we ensure that we mitigate this thing, that it doesn't cause you distress? It doesn't lead you to a point where you are having an anxiety disorder or a panic attack as a result of the work that I do. So you must have those conversations. There's professional help. Someone talked about what do you do when you have tried everything you can do. There's professional help. There's psychologists out there. I have worked with journalists personally and in therapy who need that support. There's professional help, and the range of psychological help is not just psychologists. There are psychologists, there are psychiatrists, there are psychiatric nurses. There's a range of people that can provide support for you. But in the space where you need to talk to somebody, your psychologist would be your first protocol. If there's need for pharmaceutical intervention, the psychiatrist will be brought into the conversation. But there are professionals who are trained to sit with you, to help you deal with your emotions, to help you even unburden and unpack and just even address or label what it is that is causing you that distress in a very safe and non-judgmental space. And so there are professionals out there that you can speak to that will be able to help you. And there was a question about burnout. One of the things that we have talked about, to be honest, when somebody burns out, when you have truly burnt out, many times you need professional help to get you back. Many times, if you have truly burnt out, you need professional help to get you back. But in a place where you're struggling day in, day out, we've talked about the coping mechanisms. We've talked about building resilience. Those are the things you have to put in place. You have to do it for yourself. 100% the work, okay, not 100%, let's say 95% the work is you to do. The other 5% the system. But a lot of the work comes from you doing it. You have to take care of yourself. You have to put in the time. You have to make time to take care of yourself. As much as we don't like it, if anything happens to you today, ... you fill up the box. Just think about it. If anything happens to you today that you're in the hospital, you're hospitalized, you cannot do this work that you enjoy doing, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Let me leave that to you to figure out. Yes, what is the next question?
Yeah, I think that's all. Yeah, from the
Great.
chat box. Thank you so much.
Thank
Let
you.
us move
Thank
to
you
the,
so
yeah,
much.
thank you
This
for,
last question. Can I just ask this last question, please?
Yes, please go ahead. Go ahead.
please make it brief so that we can move on. Thank you.
You talked about feeling
No,
guilty.
not all.
What do
Last
you-
question.
Okay. You talked about some of the outcomes. Someone can feel guilty as a result of the event that you covered of the scene. So when you feel such guilty, maybe because there was something you felt you're supposed to have done to save the person or the situation, but maybe yesterday we talked about what is it called, safety and all that. Maybe because you're being threatened or all that, you left that undone and keep feeling guilty that if I had known, I would have done this or done that. So if that keep coming, what else can one do? Thank you.
Thank you. So many times that could be space for you to actually reflect and ask yourself, why am I feeling guilty? What exactly am I feeling guilty for? Because sometimes that moral injury that we have talked about, you have to deal with it. And that you might get to a point where you say, there's some things that I should have done that I didn't do.
So, one is security officer.
And you may have to start learning to forgive yourself. Because the line of your work also, your hands are tied in some cases. In some of the stories that we have heard, when you ensure that you have done everything that it is that you can do within your power, sometimes your hands can be tied and you can't do anything about it. And carrying on that guilt with you does not really help. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help the next person. You might want to learn to start to forgive yourself and say to yourself, going forward, I probably will not make that mistake again. Going forward, this is how I'm addressing it. What would the lessons learned be for you? That going forward, okay, that mistake, I made it in the past. I'm not doing that again. How do I now get better going forward? Maybe that would help you reconcile, or maybe that will help you feel better about what had happened in the past. Thank you.
I have a question about female journalists.
Okay. Can you please repeat the question about female journalists?
We are concerned at the level of the Guild of Editors, even the NUJ, that our female journalists, they are increasingly finding it difficult to get husbands or to enjoy stable marriage. We're trying to find solution to it. What must have gone wrong?
Oh, okay. That is a little bit outside of the scope of my expertise.
I don't even agree with that assumption. No, I don't agree.
Okay.
It's part of the problem we're going to solve. We're trying to solve.
It's men that have problems. It's men that have problems. They don't want to marry intelligent women. So that is not a problem. It's a man's problem. It's a woman's problem.
Auntie Julie, I surrender.
Okay. Thank you so much for the question. All right. Thank you. I think that brings us to the end of the question session.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chinyere Ugo, for that insightful session. So let's just move to the next thing on the agenda, which is the tips to step down learnings. And this will be handled by our Chief Executive Officer and Executive Director of Wole Center for Investigative Journalism, Moturaya Alaka. Hello, Moturaya, can you hear me?
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Juliana and Mr. Berry and Mr. Ali made me laugh so much I forgot my session was the next was the next one. We did not envisage when we put this event together that we will also be, solving men and women marriage issues, but sometimes you get results you did not bargain. You didn't bargain for. Okay, let's move on. I have just 15 minutes, so we'll be going through this again. You are going to have the slides. I think we've had really amazing sessions from yesterday till today, and for us at the WSIJ, we are also testing, online. We've always done online training, but testing them for some of the events that we were used to doing physically, doing in person. But this has been really helpful and it has been useful and very engaging. And we're taking the lessons down for more sessions. So, but we don't want to, as you can see, the resources are always limited. It's there is also always resource conversations that we need to have. So even if we wanted to get more people into this room, there's a limit to what even online meetings can take. If we were doing it in person, there's a limit to what budget we can take. So part of what we try to do is to make you become ambassadors of the trainings that you come from. Because we have also found, I have seen in many newsrooms, there's not enough training happening in newsroom. And I think that it is because there's a mental block as to what exactly a training is. We feel like a training is when an external organization comes in and, they either take us out of our offices, lodge us in hotels, or, you rent a hall and you do all of those formal things. But the truth is that trainings happen every time, every day. But we can be more intentional in our circles as to how we hold these trainings. Imagine in the Nation office in Abuja, they have, a veteran and a really well-experienced, well-resourced person like Yusuf Ali working in their office every day for how many years now? And imagine if they don't take advantage of that to do a monthly training. And it's not just Yusuf Ali that is in that office. There are so many other, people, somebody who has done, if somebody has covered a bit or an issue for up to 3 to 5 years, they can be resource persons if they have built up themselves. I mean, you just heard my colleague Stefan make a fantastic presentation on safety, digital safety. So I have laid this background, I've taken my time because every other thing I'm saying is predicated on the fact that you see training as something that is not difficult to do. For you to gather this thing that you have learned, for you to gather 10 people and tell them about it, is not something that needs to be so formal, especially in this era where technology can make amazing things happen. So how do we build a culture? We want to build a culture for holistic safety in investigative journalism. And, we just want you to step down this training. That's our purpose. And I'm giving you now a three-step formula for stepping down. The first thing is simplify it. Many of us that are presented to you, this is our work. This is what we do. So we are presented as professional. You just heard Chinyere presents, this is what she has done, she said, for over 10 years. So she's a professional. So you don't have to make your presentation like her or like Yusuf Ali or like me or like Stefan. You can simplify it in the way that you understand. And many people who are also at that level, they will easily connect with you. So simplify it. You can just pick 3 things, for instance. You can say 3 lessons. I'll pick risk assessment, I'll pick digital security, I'll pick stress management. You are not teaching exactly what the professional on digital security taught. You are giving your own version of, for instance, do you know that they gave us this, something as simple as, which I have just tried now, as the website that Stefan gave us to check if any of our email addresses have been compromised. That website, have I been pawned? Have I been PY pawned? Yeah. So you can just give it and say, can we check? You can, a 10-minute session, can we all check, if we have been, and you have been, or you have not been, it can just be that. So simplify it, contextualize it, give it to, think of how it affects maybe the people covering the same bits with you, so you can actually customize it for them, or students, or interns in your office. Then every time you do a short training, it can be as little as 20 minutes, 10 minutes. Make sure that all of you say, what is one thing that we are going to do? One thing that I'll do differently. It might be that, I will go and take the action that the site I checked, I found out that my email is compromised. I will take that action today to make sure that, I solve that compromise and I save myself from future compromise. So take one step, one practice, one action. So what are 5 practical ways that you can step down this learning? You can, during your newsroom, many of you have meetings. You can do newsroom briefing. You can ask the editor or the person in charge ahead that, can you give me 10 minutes, or can you give me 10 minutes? I mean, as little, because it's a structured meeting, you might not have so much time, or 5 minutes. I just want to share 2 things that I learned from a training I went to at WSCIG. You can also start peer-to-peer conversations. A couple of you are sitting together and can say, all of us, can we just, use 20 minutes, 15 minutes to talk about this very issue of safety and security for journalists? You can do small group sessions, in which case you're announcing a week ahead to say, oh, on Friday, if you are interested, can you wait at so time? I'll be in this mini room, our boardroom, or our conference room, or I'll be online on Zoom, on Google Meet, or even on WhatsApp call, and you can just you can do group sessions. And some of the things that I'm speaking about these 5 practical ways, they can happen simultaneously, because I just mentioned WhatsApp call and I'm going to digital sharing. You can also type your key lessons and share on platforms that you are on WhatsApp, or share to friends by text message. Are you safe? Do you know that this particular thing, or this particular, I mentioned Signal yesterday, and Stefan has mentioned it. Do you know that you can send encrypted messages through Signal? That kind of thing. Then you can demonstrate. People around you can just see that by your behavior, you are more safety conscious. And there's a great writer, I forget his name now, who said that most important things in life, that they are caught, they are not taught. Some of the most important things in life, they are caught, they are not taught. So people learn by observation a lot. Somebody just sees you, that you are always security conscious, and they start to emulate you because you do it so often. Practical ways to step down is the same thing. I just put it in another format. So what makes step down learning effective? Number one is that be simple. Don't overload. And the opposite side is that don't overload information. Don't try to teach all of our slides to people, because except it's your expertise. Like I said, the people who we have brought, our resource persons, all of them, they're people who have been doing things for many years. Yusuf Ali has been doing this work for over 30 years. I've been doing this for over 20 years now. Chinero has been doing this for over 20 years. Stefan has been doing this for over 8 years. These are experts. They know the field. So don't try to give the other people everything that you have. The other way is that make it relevant. Your newsroom, your friends, journalism, the type of journalism you practice, what. So make it relevant to your group. If you're speaking to students, don't start talking to them, eye level, on your own experience level. I went to make a presentation at Unilag over the weekend, and I found out that, even though I had a keynote that was quite structured, that was high level, at every point I had needed to pause to bring it to the students' level and to make examples that they can resonate with and give them things to do that they can actually do. So you have to try not to be too technical. Real examples, encourage participation, let people say something. Share tools. You can share, for instance, the link, then focus on solutions. I move on quickly so let's say that you want to have a 15-minute safety conversation. I've just put a template here that can help you. In 3 minutes, you can ask a safety question. You can surface a real concern, like, oh, you went to cover that story yesterday. You went to cover the protest yesterday. Was there any challenge that you faced? And somebody will make an example. Oh, like when Chinero started that session, she made us all engaged by telling us all to mention our realities. And because of that opened up this session, and everybody, and I'm sure that when different people shared, many of you could resonate with what they shared. So start with a question, and then you can spend some time to share a lesson, an example, or a tool. Remember, you don't have so much time, so you can just pick one thing that you are like, oh, this is really important. This my safety, my mental health. We were told to mention signs that we notice when we're stressed. So you can actually just talk about those signs, and you can just stay on that for 7 minutes, for 5 minutes, and talk about your own sign. Let other people mention their own sign. And then for the last part of your session, you can agree on what am I going to do differently. If I notice that I am consistently depressed, I'll talk to somebody. I'll ask for professional help. I will journal. I will read. I will do something. So just make it practical. That's how to step down. And I say this as somebody who has developed so many training. I've developed, if I'm being modest, I will say that I've developed over 200 training modules, actual training modules, step by step on how to make trainings happen. I don't always teach them, but I design them. So you can achieve this in 15 minutes. And if there's an action plan, then you can encourage behavioral change. And safety issues is something that we must do corporately, because like I said yesterday, we're doing consequential journalism. The threats that we face their cost can really be existential, and they can also be equally consequential. So we must do it collectively. So Civic Space Guard, some multiplier effect, we've done this for you. If you do this to 5 journalists and you encourage them to, or you do this to 25, or, those 5 go ahead to do it to 10. If all of us in this room, let's say there are 20 participants in this room, and each of you do that to 5, that is immediately 100. You understand? If each of you do it to 10, that is immediately 200. So the multiplier effect, because WSIJ, Media Rights Agenda, Center for Journalism, and Innovation and Development, CGID, we cannot all cover everything. It's interesting that when I started this profession, and I would always tell Mr. Dapolo that we need more organizations that are doing this thing. We need more organizations. And you ask me, you say, like, how many more do we need? I'll say, if we have 20 more, if we have 30 more, I said, we'll still be just scratching the surface of the enormity of work that we need to do. That's why, I have no space at all. Look, envying another organization doing anything, because the work is plenty. If I attempt to do more than I'm doing, I'll just die. So we need more organizations. We need more people doing this. We really need to multiply what we are doing. We need it to spread so that we can have a better society. So what's my challenge for you? Number one is, by show of hand, can you tell me if you will share something that you have learned here today with somebody? I need people to raise their virtual hands. Raise your virtual hands. Let us see. If will you share it, what will you do differently? What first, if you share? I'm looking at my screen. It's not encouraging. I thought that the screen, if you share something, it can be something as small as encouraging somebody. We want you to actually share the lessons, but you can also do things like, you notice that this person is always depressed, pushing that person to actually seek help. I do that a lot. If I see something, I'm like, I try to intervene. And I know many of you already do that, but doing it more consciously. Thank you for everyone. So let us share, let us do. But let me also remind you of where we started from yesterday. Our realities are shocking. The fact that you don't hear or see the news, and you've seen from people inside this room, when our resource person asks people to share experiences, can you imagine the things that journalists have seen? I work in this space, and I know that part of my coping mechanism is that even though I work in news, I don't read too much news. I don't watch too many videos of, what Boko Haram is doing or adopted children. I don't do those things because this is already my work. It is traumatizing enough. So I just save myself from that. So this is our shocking reality, guys. And let me remind us again that the work we do is consequential, and so it was consequential. I'll just read this close as I close again. And I've made some modification from this quote that I made yesterday, and I'm making it today. Consequential journalism carries risk, and those risks can lead to existential costs. Those costs can be physical, they can be digital, they can be legal, they can be psychological, they can be social, and they can be financial. And let us all work together to ensure that we sanitize and make our space safer for us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moturaya, for that wonderful session. And even from the chat box, I can see what people are promising. I will share this with my colleagues. So it is an impactful session since yesterday, and I'm very sure they can't wait to to do the step down with their colleagues at work, with their peers and other people involved that are into investigative journalism. Thank you so much for that wonderful session once again. So let us move to the closing interactive panel. So our facilitators are to lead the conversation, for participants to foster reflection and peer learning on staying safe, resilient, and effective investigative journalism. And I can see in the room that we have the managing editor rather, Premium Times, in person of Mr. Idris Akimbajo. So he's also on the call as well. So we have all our panelists, all our facilitators rather, since yesterday, in person of Motunaya Alaka, Mr. Yusuf Ali, Mr. Idris Akimbajo, Mr. Akinimi Stefan, and also Chinyere Ugo Onyekwere. So we have all these people expert in the house. So let us have an interactive session. So a lot has been discussed, a lot has been said. Let us share things with them so that they can able to guide us and see what we can do better. Because since yesterday, a lot of questions, so we may not be able to capture what we want to ask. But this is an avenue for us to have this interactive session with this expert in the rooms and let them know what we are facing or how we can go about it. That is why we are putting this together. WSCIG is putting this together for us. So this is an avenue for us to now ask more questions. Let us have an interactive session, and also from the experts as well. They can guide us. They can put us through that. Okay, this is a better way to go about it. So the floor is open. I can see. Oh yeah. Let me look at. Okay. Please, you can unmute yourself and go ahead, please. Messi, if you can hear me, please, can you unmute yourself? Let's hear from you. And after that, we can have Mr. Yusuf Ali. Thank you. Onye Willie, can you hear me?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Good
Afternoon, everyone. In fact, I want to especially appreciate Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism for this laudable training section since yesterday. It has been very educative, dealing with safety of journalists while carrying out our work, noting the fact that investigative journalism, has a lot of issues because the people you are trying to uncover issues surrounding the activities, they will never be happy with you. So they are always, waiting to attack if given the opportunity. So the safety tips on how we can go about our job has been very helpful. And I also think that going back to my media house, I will be able to, carry out some of these tips to educate some of my staffs and my colleagues as well. So I want to especially thank the moderator and the resource persons who have taken out the time to ensure that these sections was very educative. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Thank you, Messi, for that. Let us have Mr. Yusuf Ali. You have the floor, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Nuruddin. I hope Esteban is still at the house.
Yes, he is. Yes, we have him still in the house.
Please, I want him to guide me. I want you to guide me, Mr. Stefan.
Okay, sir.
I am, as an investigative journalist or editor,
I didn't get that.
one of the safety measures is to always hide my location on the phone. Is that helpful? Is that good? Or what can I do? I hide my location a lot most of the time. You can't track me on the phone. Know where I am.
All right. That is actually stepping stone. That's actually a good start. So hiding your location is a good start, but it's actually not enough. So let me just put it like that, because end of the day, our mobile phones or our laptops, our devices generally actually emit what we call electromagnetic waves, right? So that means you turning off your location still doesn't stop others from knowing your location. So, right, because if they have the tools, the sophisticated tools, so once they have that, they can actually still track you even after turning on off your location. So the best thing for you to do in that moment, maybe you are going to a sensitive area and you just want your location to be hidden permanently. So the best thing for you to do is to get a Faraday pouch. I showed a picture of that in one of my slides. So you put so the pouch it actually have a size for a tablet and the one for a mobile phone. So if you are using a mobile phone, so you can get a smaller one. So with that, you can actually put your phone inside that pouch. So what that does is that it blocks the waves, right? The electromagnetic waves. So it blocks your phone from emitting electromagnetic waves, right? So that means calls, you can't get calls. So that's just a disadvantage. So like nobody will be able to call anybody, nobody will be able to call you, and you can't receive text messages, you can't receive anything, right? So you are just blocked from the internet temporarily, right? Until you remove it from that pouch. So that's it. So turning off your location is the best, is a good start, but it's still you still need to do more to actually protect your location. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Mr. Akinemi. Do we have another person?
Yes, my hand is up.
All right. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to thank the team for putting this together. It's refreshing again. Like I said earlier, thank you for the resources, and I'm also very grateful for allowing us to be part of this wonderful all the sessions. Now, my question is a follow-up question, and this is to Mr. Stefan. He talked about the need to always switch off your locations. Now, as a Google local guide, I am a Google local guide. As a Google local guide, I am also expected to always keep my location on, because if I have to submit data, I need to put the location on so that Google can actually verify the data I am also submitting from that location. As a matter of fact, there are some things I do that will also require that I switch on my phone location. So what I'm saying is, how do we create a balance? Mr. Stephen, kindly tell us how we can create a balance. I know that, yes, putting off your phone location is important, but however, when there are some things you need to do as a journalist that will require that your phone location must be on. In fact, in my office, we also have an app, a safety app, that requires us to always put our location on, so that if anything happens, we can be tracked immediately, and so that we can also receive help. So how can we create a balance between switching off your location and putting it on when necessary and all of that? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for the question. So yeah, I agree with you. So it's not every time that you will be putting off your location, because your location sometimes can actually lead can be important also. So for others to know your current location. So I think so to balance it. So the thing is just to protect your devices as a whole, right? Because your location is on, right? People can still like track you, but once your devices as a whole is protected in the sense that you have your MFA, your multi-factor authenticator. You have the app on your phone, and it's connected to your most important social media account. It's connected to some apps. So with that, they can still get your location, but at the end of the day, they won't be able to get into your devices or get an unauthorized access into your devices. So so it's not every time you'll be able to turn off your location, but every time an app is requesting for location, right? It's because there are some apps you want to sign up into, and they'll be asking you to give them permission for your location, right? So make sure you review all those requests, right? Because some apps may not seem may not look the way they were intended for. So they might want to actually use that data they are going to get from you to actually cause damages to you. So that's one thing you just need to be aware of, right? So anytime a device is asking for your location, anytime an application rather is asking for a location, turn on a location, just need to be careful. Just read the pop-up, read the request, read it carefully, and check if it's actually the right thing to do at that moment. Because sometimes you might want to maybe do a video or something, and the app you are trying to use for that video recording is asking you for your location. You'll be like, so I'm trying to record a video, so why are you asking for my location? So just need to be aware. So just be aware of the danger that you might encounter if you give them access to critical information like your location. So that's just it.
All right. Yeah, thank you. We have Mr. Olawale raising up his hand. Mr. Olawale, are you there?
Okay, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you once again. So my question is from yesterday. I couldn't get to ask the question, so I think this should be directed to the second speaker. But if he's not around, Madam Mutua can as well attend this. So a situation where a you know a reporter has gone outside to work, probably traveled somewhere far away, and so identifying the safety places. And so you realize, oh, okay, the police station is compromised by information, the mosque, the church, and every other areas you could think of. And so ideally, you probably have lodged somewhere, and of course, there's a security threat that you have perceived. And so all of these identify safety areas. I mean, they are not just working for you because you're just trying to be very careful, and it feels like, look, there is nowhere to go in this city, in this town, in this village. So what can the journalists do? Do we have to retreat and go back home and probably come back later, or just forget it totally? Or what can be done to sustain the situation? Thank you.
All right, Mr. Kimbaju.
Yes, thank you very much for that question. I think it's difficult to find any community where everybody or every institution is compromised, but it's not impossible. What you normally have in communities is that even if majority are compromised, you have a few that usually stand out. Religious places can sometimes be the safe havens, but if there is such a situation where the police, civil defense, the traditional leadership, that's the palace in the community, the church, the mosque, everywhere is compromised. And you believe that you may face security risk if you go into that community. Perhaps the whole community is involved in this scam, so everybody and every institution there is trying to protect what's happening there. Now, what I would say is that before you go to such a community, make a separate security arrangements for yourself. So what international media usually do is that in such situations, you perhaps discuss with the police headquarters in Abuja here and go with a mobile police team from there. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. And go with the police team from the headquarters in Abuja, or an army team from the headquarters, so that whatever local connivance or complicity or cause cannot deter those who are coming from the head office, who of course will then have higher roles and or higher authority about whatever local situation exists. So that's how, or even make your own. If for any reason, let's assume that the whole from the police headquarters in Abuja to the commissioner of police to the AIG to the DPO, everybody is compromised in that process. The religious institutions are all compromised and the rest. You can make your arrangement outside of the police, or there are other security institutions, the army, the civil defense, but it's a very, very rare situation. It's a very, very rare situation. I've not come across that. I know that there are many cases where traditional institutions are compromised, especially in mining communities where the community itself is involved in that artisanal mining, and so they don't want any information about it to get compromised. So in such situations, the state authorities, the police or the army, then become your security if you plan it very well before the. Sometimes it's the security agencies that are compromised because of the money they collect from it. In such situations, the religious institutions can actually be the safe havens if you know how to meander your way. I always say that one thing we don't use as journalists, we don't utilize enough for personal safety and religious institutions. Uh, 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 that's what they should be in my own view. Most Catholic churches generally, just let the pastor, Imam Salam Alaikum, I'm a journalist, I'm here to do a story. This is what I'm trying to, put that moral burden on them. You see that they can provide a lot more support for you than you would even estimate. Or they can even guide you and say, okay, these are the people that you shouldn't talk to, these are the people you can talk to, and so on. So I think that's where can go. If such a situation exists, then work with authorities outside of those communities if everybody is compromised. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Mr.
Mr. Nurudeen.
Hello?
Mr. Nurudeen.
Sir, we can hear you.
Mr. Nurudeen. Yeah, this job is about no retreat, no surrender. When we were working in the newsroom of the Punch in those days, we had a maxim on the wall. If it means jumping over the fence, never come back without a story. It is extremely difficult to get a completely compromised society. People love good stories and they appreciate daring journalists. You are the one, before you embark on any investigative story, do your preliminary, have your preliminary plans, the nature of the place. In fact, you can have local sources within the community that will be of help. Where it is not safe, you can stay in nearby community. Your accommodation can be there. You go back to the community in daytime, do your stories, and you won't sleep in that community. There are different ways. Don't forget, an investigative journalist or reporter is also an undercover reporter. There are so many ways you can beat your traducers to their game. So that's why your safety is important. A dead man cannot write a story, but at the same time, you have to be streetwise when you are doing your job. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for that insight. Sadiq Atonda, you are raising your hand. You can go ahead. Let's have you.
Okay.
Mr. Atonda? Okay.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. It's just a comment. 2 days have been very fantastic. The sessions have been very excellent, and I appreciate the dexterity of this podcast.
Sorry, can you be more audible?
Hello.
Hi, thank you. Go ahead.
Is it better now? Hello.
Hello, yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so I was just saying that the 2 days have been very fantastic. I enjoyed all the sessions, and what stood out for me so far were the sessions about the pouch, the one I talked about how to protect one's devices against tracking and all of those things. And then the other one was the mental health sessions. The mental health sessions that talked about protecting oneself as well as the family members. So I enjoyed all of those sessions all together, and I just thought to give this feedback, and I think that this will be stepped down going forward at my own organization. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Atonda, for that. We also look forward to everyone sharing these stories on our social media platform and tag us WSCIJ on across all social media platforms. And a link has also been shared, in the group chat for us to follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates, for opportunities, and whatever we are dishing out from the center. Thank you so much. Okay, please let us on our videos, everyone on the call, so that we can have our virtual group picture. It's very, very important. While we are doing that, we also want to get one of us or just few people to talk about the key things that they are taking away from this 2-day training session. So what are the things you've all said you were going to do the step down, just like what Turayo mentioned about the 15 minutes, how we can do this step down with your colleagues, with your peers, and everyone, doing this investigative journalism. But just tell us a few things, your takeaway for this 2 days session, just like what Mr. Atonda mentioned about the mental health part and other parts. So let us have few of us just talked about the key things we are taking away from this 2-day session. Very important. Yeah, and also please let us turn on our videos. Yeah, thank you. Anyone, let's have your key takeaways from this 2-day training.
It's Nuruddin.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, so thank you, the Wale Center, for this training. So one of the key things I learned was from yesterday's session. I think it was from one of the sessions facilitated by Mrs. Motrayo, where she talked about the FOI, Freedom of Information Law. So I think she asked us if we've read the FOI extensively, if we've studied it, reviewed it, and if I'm correct, probably one or two of us signified that he or she has really studied the FOI, which I'm also guilty of. I haven't really studied it, so it's like a challenge for me to get that document and really study it, because we have to know the laws as journalists, as an investigative public interest journalist. We have to know the laws deeply so that we don't flout them. So she mentioned that the major content of that FOI is about security. So I need to that, and at my pace, at my time, study them. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. So let us have another person, to tell us the key takeaways. Very important. And I strongly believe that beyond just, we sharing this in the room, let us also take that to action, all the things that have been discussed. Let us put them, let us implement them. Very, very important. Yeah, let us have two more people that can just give us.
Mr. Anuruddin.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, the Stephen's advice or presentation on digital safety is a new vista, a new opening, eye opener, and it's one of the things I'm taking away. I need to do more to ensure digital safety to protect my work. Thank you.
Thank you so much to protect your work, to protect our work. Very, very important. Let's take one more person. Okay, Felicia Nwusu, let's have you.
Okay. I would say very big thank you to Onisha guys for this platform. It's very, very inspiring, very, very enlightening, especially. Yesterday, I learned anything from that safety from Madam Alaka when she talked about going to a hotel. Most time, we journalists, when we go for an assignment, they take you to a hotel. You just carelessly enter there. You don't care about anything. But when she talked about some mirrors that you just see, they are ordinary mirror, that we should take note and be cautious about things like that. So it really gave me an insight that most time, myself and my colleague, when we go, there was a time we went to Oshu State and something happened, but because of what she just said yesterday, I'm going to even talk to my colleagues in the office about it, especially when we go out on outside assignments and we go to a hotel, things we should do to protect ourselves most especially. And then as well, today when we learned about digital on how to protect our documents, most time in our office, you see these things happen. So I'm going to really talk to my colleagues on how to protect our documents, what to do, especially to ascertain whether something is real or not, and if to avoid our document being hacked. So those two things, although there are other things I learned, but these are the two things I'm really going to pass to them. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, we know that we can't take everyone, to give us their key takeaways, and you can, continue this conversation on your social media platform. Tag us WSAIJ, on all our social media platform, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and let us, let people know what you've learned about this training, and just try to do a step down, for them as well. And on the chat box, we have the 2-day attendance. If you miss the one, you can have that. You so also fill in the 2 attendance as well, very important. And also the post survey form link is also on, send in the chat box. So let us give us your feedback about the 2-day training session. We've dropped one yesterday for yesterday's event and also for today as well. So let us have your feedback about it, so that we can for our next training, we can able to take your feedback and see what we can do better to improve on what we are dishing out. Of course, it is more of excellence, and we just have to keep on doing better. There's always a room for improvement. On that note, I said something. Let us have our video on so that we can have our group picture. Very important. Let's everyone turn on their videos. Yeah, Fawaz Adebisi, please turn on your videos. Mr. Joseph, please. So let us have the group picture. Very, very important. We are waiting for us. Please, let's do that as soon as possible. Okay. So can we have the group picture now? All right. Thank you so much. All right. So for the, thank you so much. We've taken the group picture. For the post-survey form that we shared, please let us fill it. It's very, very important. Be rest assured that after you fill this form, we are going to send you the the material, the toolkit, for the 2-day session. It's very, very important. So please help us to fill that form so that we can able to, get your details and send you the materials or the toolkit that we had for the 2-day training session. Very, very important. So if we can share, we will share the link again for us. Perhaps you've missed it from the earlier chat. Please let us fill that form. One for the attendance, for the 2-day attendance, and also for the post-survey form for the event. So it's very, very important. Let's do that. Thank you so much. To close this session, on behalf of the Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, we want to say a big thank you to all our resource persons from yesterday, Mutraya Alaka, Idris Akimbajo, Yusuf Ali, Stefan Akinimi, our resource person, Chinyere Ugo Oyekwere. So thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate that. And also our participant for the 2-day program. It's really a lot. And you invest your time, your resources, and that is how we can keep learning and keep improving. Because investigative journalism is about safety. Investigative journalism is about how we can do better even as a journalist, because our life first, and before we can report something better, we have to be mentally okay, we have to be safe and secure. Is on that note, we say a big thank you for this session, and we look forward to see you in our next training. And also, don't forget, you can have this conversation going forward on our social media platform, and also tag us in your post on LinkedIn about this training. Let the world know that you attended this training session, and let them see the importance of this. From and do the step down as God promised. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. Thank you, and God bless.